Welcome everybody to the Sharpshooters Wrestling Podcast. Once again, we are live on a Saturday morning. I'm Eric.
I'm Lord Manny Hayes.
And I'm Marcus the Grand Finale.
Once again, that's a round of applause right there. We got it right. We got it right. God damn it. We got it right. And then we messed it up by talking about how we got it right. How's everybody doing this Saturday morning?
I'm feeling fantastic.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fantastic. I went to sleep. I woke up, and now I'm doing the show.
Despite everything that's going on in the world with all the protests and all that, the one thing I can say that I have so much fun is sitting down and talking with my brothers about the week in professional wrestling and also the week in the world. I think we have a very jam-packed show, interesting show that we're going to try to keep in our 2-hour window.
Even though we didn't do it last week.
We did not do it last week, but we will point out that we had a quartet, and when you have 4 people, that's 4 opinions, so it takes a little bit more time. Once again, thank you to Wes for joining us last week. It was a hoot. Kind of disappointed because we really thought we were going to go on a field trip to his local Walmart or in his car. That did not happen. He actually stayed.
Wes is normally on location.
Yeah.
That's a constant professional, guys.
Yeah.
Constant professional. And he kept it 100, and I think he changed outfits 3 times.
Yeah, he didn't fall asleep. I was like, man. So AJ Styles, Bobby Roode Pound to Wes from Be More. We really appreciate him being a part of the show. We also, there he goes. We also have a very big announcement. The Sharpshooters brand as a whole is expanding. You have nothing to worry about. The audio podcast will still be there, and the recording will still be released on Saturday, along with the live stream. However, the grand finale and Lord Manny Hayes has decided that they're going to have an outside endeavor on the Sharpshooters Network on YouTube, and I will throw it to Marcus to explain what is going down. Marcus, go ahead.
Okay. Have you ever been sitting at home alone with nothing to do, and it's probably a Tuesday or a Thursday, you're in the middle of the week, and you're like, where is my wrestling podcast? I have nothing. I have nothing to listen to. I missed the voice of Eric reading emails, or I missed the voice of Marcus the Grand Finale. I need Manny's opinion on this, on what happened. I can't wait. I can't wait a week for this opportunity. So we are debuting the new show this Tuesday, DSPN, the Sharpshooters Prime number.
Production Network.
Okay. I never knew. Okay, if you want to be honest, I never knew what the PN stood for. All right. So it will be a show, a weekly show, video show for the YouTube service, in which we are covering more of the more current events of professional wrestling, such as roundtables from the NXT in your house this Sunday, or if there's anything news story, let's say if anything breaks, like CM Punk calls out AJ Styles, we'll talk about that, or whatever the case may be. But it will be a entertaining show. It shouldn't be longer. It's not going to be 2 hours. It's probably going to be around 20 minutes, 15, something like that. But I'll toss to Manny. What do you have business for the show? Because I just made all that up right now.
Manny, before you speak, can I just correct a couple things? Marcus in his heart, I know he says it's going to be a 20-minute show, but people expect it to be a 20-minute to an hour-long show. Because you know, and I know, that Marcus cannot stop talking. And if you're going to cover an in-your-house show, which is going to be at least a 4-hour show, there is no way you're going to condense that into 20 minutes.
NXT shows are consistently like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Once again, there is no way you're going to condense that down to 20 minutes. Lord Manny, this was like one of your ideas to, branch out and do a show on Tuesday. Are you excited about this new adventure?
I'm excited because it allows us to speak about more relevant, more topics rather than just reviewing the show. So we don't want to make the show like 5 hours long if we were to talk about everything. As like we can go into a bit more detail on bits and pieces of Raw, like where me and Marcus might go off on a tangent like we normally do during the audio show. So it allows us to get more points out quite quickly to you for you to listen to on YouTube.
And ideally, the show will take place on Tuesday, but as the world opens up again, of course, schedules are subject to change, and you guys will be notified of when the show will be released. It will not be an audio version of this show, so if you do want to participate or listen to the show, you will have to do it on YouTube. You can listen to it live, or you can listen to the replay that will be on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go and subscribe, go to youtube.com/the Sharpshooters. That's DA Sharpshooters.com. I mean, if you've been listening to us all this time, you know how to spell the name. However,
they click the YouTube link
and subscribe, like and subscribe.
The Sharpshooters on there. So you don't have to actually look to spell the name.
So and like everything we do, please.
And
like it, yeah.
And don't just subscribe. You have to comment to let us get more traction. But more important news, we need your help. Because although we had a production meeting, let's say 30 minutes before the show, we actually had a true, honest production meeting where we discussed things about the show. We could not come up with a name for this show. So
I just called it DSPN because Manny put the sign up. That's the name of the show.
That's the network, Marcus. That's the
network. That's the network. That includes the audio podcast.
Yes.
So well, damn it.
It's like Leo Laporte and his Twit network. We're DSPN, damn it. But with that being said, they do not have a name for the show. Apparently, when I threw out the Lord finale or something like that, Marcus said it sounded like a bad porno. So clearly, me being just Eric, I could not come up with a clever name for the Tuesday show. So that's when we throw it out to you, the Sharpshooters Nation, who's been on this ride with us for so long. Give us your best suggestions, why can I talk with words, of what the name of the show should be, and you could possibly win something. Don't know what that something is, but it could be something.
Money involved in this. You're throwing money at people?
No, you can't throw money. Because money, it's a lot of rules to contest when it comes to the YouTubes.
I'm going to fake my account and win this contest, guys, and win whatever Eric is offering.
But that means you have to come up with a name, and it has to be what, and you'd have to pitch why this is a good name.
Yes, and also we want to point out,
never mind.
Marcus will probably not even win the contest because he still has not bought his Tamina shirt. Just want to point that out.
I do have a Tamina shirt. I'm actually not going to buy a Tamina shirt. I am building a Tamina shirt now. I am building it.
That is not. No, that is not the rule. You need to buy a Tamina shirt. You need to go to www.shop.com, search Tamina, and click her shirt so she can get some of that financial support from you because Tamina got kids. I don't know if she does or not, but she does.
She does. She does.
And that was the agreement almost a month ago. And you haven't done it yet.
Just so you know, I'm buying the shirt of Caden Carr.
You know, Manny, I actually was going to buy that shirt for you and mail it to you for all the help that you've done with the show. However, I had no idea what your size was, so I was like, I'll let him buy his own shirt. Because I still have your address, but it's like, I don't know the size of his shirt. So, and you don't want you don't want to be like with a pregnant person. Well, let me get him a 4X, and next thing, Eric, I ain't no fucking 4X. Then you get him a 2X. I ain't no 2X, and it's like shit. Never mind.
That means a 3X.
You can't just keep guessing like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip numbers. And he's like, no, I'm not no 3X.
Well, because technically I am a 3X, but when it comes to buying WWE shirts, I have to buy a 4X because after you wash it, it kind of shrinks a little bit, and then it becomes like a midriff, and no one wants to see my belly hanging out. And that's
you don't want to be Black Otis?
Huh?
Oh, you don't want to be the Black Otis?
Yeah, but Otis wears more of a sports bra now.
Yeah.
He's compiled his shirt into a kind of like a sports bra.
But Otis is with Mandy, so everything is right in the world. Still, where are you, Tucker Knight? Where are you?
Justice for Tucker.
We need to find Tucker Knight. I mean, like
I feel like you were doing the Rock's Black Lives Matter promo and against Donald Trump when you were talking about Tucker Knight. Where are you?
Let me say something right then and there. And the Rock's Where Are You promo, message, whatever you want to call it, that was beautiful and is what the country needed. Like, instead of trying to tear the country apart, you need to bring the country together. And the only person that doesn't understand that is the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, also a WWE Hall of Famer. Go figure.
Wait a minute, we didn't bring our Bibles?
No.
I was gonna beat some kids up and then walk across the street to their school.
I'll hold up the Disman's book.
Hey,
But I'm reading this book.
Benny, it's supposed to be upside down. There you go. There you go. There you go. With that being said, it is now time to start. Go ahead, Marcus.
Is Benny gonna walk outside a wrestling school and hold up the AWO? And take a picture?
We do have a email from Disman, and maybe what I could do, because a part of me was a little sad that I'm not a part of the Tuesday show, but I have to work. But maybe we can have a separate show on the DSPN where I can interview creators and they can promote their products. So maybe we can have a sit down interview with the Disman and we discuss his upcoming book, the AWO Players That I Don't Know the New Name of the Title, which could be something fun for me to do. So with that being said, go ahead.
I would like you to also interview Chris because I love his stories.
Yeah, but see, I need to think about Chris. Chris needs to be a guest on the show.
I love his stories.
I'm ready for Chris to be on the show, but I also realize once Chris is on the show, it will not be our 2-hour cap. But that's okay because his stories are amazing. And he can even, if he needs us to, he can wear a mask. We can even put a little black light on his face to black out his identity. I'm not even sure if that's how that works.
A voice changer on him as well.
It was not me. I always wanted to be in one of those interviews and blacked out, and I want people to know it's me. That's the problem, because the way I talk, the exact same words, and be like, man, this dude think he's slick.
Like for me, in all the comedy spoof movies where they always have like the person they move and then the blackout of the faces, like that always made me laugh. So. Things that made me laugh. Monday Night Raw started off this week, and it started off with the Monday Night Messiah being in the ring. And as we suspected last week, the retirement ceremony for Rey Mysterio was actually orchestrated by Seth Rollins. He actually took the time, Marcus, and he talked to Keith in the truck. And I don't know if Keith works for AEW or for WWE, but he had a video.
TNA.
Whatever. He had a
He may work for AEW.
I think he works for AEW now. He had a video package prepared highlighting Rey Mysterio's career. Marcus, were you satisfied with Seth Rollins' attempt to honor the great memory of Rey Mysterio?
Well, I believe the video package was a good video package up until the point where he disfigured and handicap a man at the end of the video package. You can't do that. That's disrespectful. But all in all, it was pretty entertaining. It was delusional. But I didn't know what to expect for the ceremony, but I felt underwhelmed by it. I felt like there was going to be more to it. Like maybe they brought up Psychosis over there to talk about Rey Mysterio's career or some form of eulogy or funeral or something. But it was just Seth in the ring and he was just talking. Clearly, and his disciples were just sitting out there applauding.
Yeah, clearly the Messiah doesn't know anything about party planning. He probably should have talked to Kairi Sane because Kairi Sane's celebration had balloons and streamers and all that good stuff. But he said that he felt that Rey Mysterio was too modest to come to ringside and call himself a legend. Do you think Rey Mysterio has that level of modesty, Manny? Or do you just think Rey Mysterio just didn't give a damn what Seth was talking about?
Well, it's not... I don't feel Rey Mysterio's going to actually come out and go, yeah, I'm a legend. But like the whole speech of Rey, I'll be honored to induct you to the WWE Hall of Fame. I was like, you son of a bitch. You don't think he's gonna ask his son Dominic, Eddie Guerrero's son Dominic to induct him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's like oh wow. And so I guess since you brought it up, we might as well go there because although we got advertised a retirement segment, and I feel like the celebration was not up to my expectation because it was just literally Seth Rollins cutting a promo. Later on the night, we had Rey Mysterio Skyping in, discussing his own career, and also he had Dominic there. And when I talked to Marcus had a very interesting reason why Dominic was on the Skype call with Rey Mysterio. Marcus, could you enlighten the listeners of why you felt Dominic was there?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I've ever been in a conversation with somebody damned me at least 30 times. So when Rey Mysterio was in this car going, "Damn you, Seth Rollins, damn you." I mean, I've never heard nobody ever say that, and I couldn't help but laugh. I could not help but laugh going like, what the hell talks like this? Damn you. Like, that's one of my new life goals on my bucket list is to end the conversation on the phone with "damn you." Damn you. Well, anyway, so at the end of this conversation, after he condemned Seth Rollins and damned him and was unsure about his career, he just walked away and was like, "Come on, Dominic," and left his laptop open. And Dominic kind of swoops in. And when I told Eric this, that like, who leaves their laptop open after a Skype call? Like he was, you think he was just close it, like, "I'll see y'all later. I close it myself." However, the theory came that I don't think Rey Mysterio knows how to use Skype. And Dominic had to set it up for him. Mysterio in his late 40s does not know how to use Skype. He's like, "Just show me." I can imagine him being horrible at computers. This is like teaching an old man how to use a VCR or a DVD player, depending on how old you are. So Dominic was going to set it up and close it. But, he had to spit his own words. "I'm gonna kill you, homie. I'm gonna kill you." He was a keyboard warrior at that moment. He was making dangerous threats, and everybody has it on tape. If anything would happen to Seth Rollins on the street, the number one suspect is clearly Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic, who is making dangerous threats.
So, Marcus, as you said, you don't know anybody who doesn't know how to use Skype. Marcus, there was a video that was circulating around where I believe it was a Zoom call, and the Zoom call had in it for like one person of the whole group, right? It was like 8 of them. But the guy did not turn his camera off. And he was, he was going to Big E himself on the call because he was looking for porn and he was lubing it up and he was about to jack off while everybody else was on the Zoom call. So, Marcus, there's been...
The fact that everyone stayed on that Zoom call, though, was like, "No, stop! He can't hear it! No!"
They were all they're trying to text him and tell him to stop. And I'm like, wow, that's the greatest thing. So I don't know how real that was, but it made me laugh.
Wait. So in this call, so the conversation was over and they just stayed on and he was just kind of just sitting there and was what? That conversation went really great.
No. So he thought the call was in it. So I think he thought he hit the end button. And so he did all the computer masturbating techniques. Like, he looked into the computer and he backed up and he was like, and like it was all like that. It was like, what the hell? Like it was hilarious. But Manny, as I told Marcus, I knew Dominic was about business when he licked his lips. Anytime you lick your lips, you about to spit some true fire right there and there. Do you want to see Dominic get his hands on Seth Rollins, or
it'd be a really good way to break him in to the WWE? But I feel like it's gonna take more than just. I feel like there's gonna be that wall of Theory and Murphy before he even gets close to Seth. We might get a nice moment of like when him and Ray did the 619 to Brock in the match, but who knows? I'm looking forward to it.
But currently the champion for Rey Mysterio is Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. And surprisingly, they came out and they interrupted the retirement ceremony. And that led into a match where Rollins let Aleister Black pin him. Of course, after the match, the Disciples and the Messiah got their heat back. But Marcus, I think that's a big deal for Aleister Black getting the pin on Seth Rollins, although he really doesn't fit in this storyline, but at the same time, I'm okay with it. Is that a way to build a new wrestler?
Well, they're building it looks like, to a 6-man tag at Backlash. It'd be Aleister Black, Humberto Carrillo, and their mystery partner, Dominic. Which, if they want to go that route, it's fine. But, oh man, I lost my thought. There's some type of swerve with Dominic turning heel. There's something about that. And I had a thought, I had a plan. Had it planned out.
I find it really weird that they were really pushing this. Oh, Rey Mysterio was Aleister Black's mentor. I've never seen any mention of anything. Their styles completely contradict each other. Just because if I was to fall on you, you didn't save my life.
I owe you my life. I owe you my life.
I think the unfortunate situation is that Humberto Carrillo, this is a storyline that is built especially for him. However, he doesn't have that charisma, that je ne sais quoi, whatever. I didn't even say the word, so fuck it. I made up a word. Yeah, I made up a word. I fucked it up, man. Whatever. Whatever, dude. I don't speak French. Whatever. You know what I meant. You know what the fuck I meant.
Excuse me.
Calm down.
Anyway,
but like Carrillo can't carry it by himself. I mean, it's been multiple times that they've tried to jumpstart that engine, but that car just won't pull out the garage because I don't think anyone cares about him in the post-crowd era. Like, even the performance center is like, oh, here come Carrillo. He's going to get beat up in this situation. So you're trying to make Black bigger than what he is by associating him with the legend Rey Mysterio. However, it feels disjointed. Like, maybe they should have used Garza or something in this situation. Also, another issue that I took liberty with was that Rey Mysterio on the call, I know he has his eye injury. I really wish he would have wrapped his eye with some white tape or something, because like when you're wearing the mask, I could not tell that his eye was hurt. And
realistically, would you wear a giant piece of white tape over your eye, Marcus, with a simple eye patch over your eye or whatever he had?
Marcus,
it makes the most sense.
This is professional wrestling, Marcus. John Moxley walked around with a half-ass pirate eye patch, looking like Snake from Metal Gear. And then when Santana got his eye taken out because his poppy was blind, he walked around with a Puerto Rican patch. So I'm just saying that if you want to sell me on this eye injury, he should have had white tape. Overall, I still think it's a solid segue for whenever Rey Mysterio comes back, so I was not upset about that.
Eric, can I pitch you a storyline with this?
Go ahead, Marcus.
All right. Imagine Dominic joining Seth, right? And his disciples and his Messiah. And Rey Mysterio has to come back from his 500th retirement to come back to save his son. Can you imagine the movie? You remember the movie South Central?
Yes. OG Bobby Johnson, man.
Yeah. Can you imagine Rey Mysterio playing OG Bobby Johnson and talk about Ray gave my son?
As long as he has a potato on the gun that he points at Seth Rollins, that's all I care about.
And then they have that full embrace at the end. Come on, man. For those who haven't seen the Black Hood classic of South Central, starring OG Bobby Johnson, whose name I don't know other than OG Bobby Johnson. And I think that's the only actual notable person in that movie. But it's a classic, and I believe that's the Rey Mysterio storyline. They should go that route.
So, another thing that took place on Monday Night Raw, which it's always good because it's nothing like a friend who someone feels is taking advantage of somebody, and then that person's wife who was already taking advantage of somebody but calling out the friend who's taking advantage of somebody. What I'm talking about is Lana confronting MVP, saying that he's trying to revive his long-dead, washed-up career by riding the coattails of MVP. And MVP looked at her and was like, well, I'm not doing that, but maybe you are. Manny, should she had did a little bit more to MVP in this situation?
Are we talking about the whole segment?
Yes.
Like the whole situation now? We can talk
about the whole situation now.
Because I feel like so the whole build up with this I thought Lana was gonna have a bigger role because she had this moment with MVP, and then she had that conversation with, I think it was Kayla Braxton.
It was either Braxton or Caruso, where she determined that Bobby told her not to come down the ringside for his matches, but she didn't say he couldn't come down the ringside for MVP's matches.
Yeah, and then and then basically did nothing for the whole match. And I was just like, what was the point in this whole thing? Like, you built it up to something that it wasn't. And it just left me like, Lana, what is the real plan going on here? Because like either they do have Rusev coming back, which I hope they've got Rusev coming back.
You know, of all the people,
otherwise it's all for nothing.
All the people they let go, that's the one person I was like, I hope he comes back. You know, Marcus, you're looking like a correspondent on location in some place, like ready to chime in. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was talking to Rusev in the back just a moment ago. I was just texting him. Rolled by. He said he's coming back. Breaking news. Source is close to me. That's the kind of person I want to be. My source is close to me, but never be right. But I'm on TV because they think I have good sources. I'm like hit the 25% chance. But with this situation, I just think that they're implementing Lana in the storyline just because she's going to cost Bobby Lashley this title. And are we talking about even the main event as well with this, or is it just?
Yeah.
It's
the
all
whole thing,
We're
right?
talking about a segment of our new condensed version, Marcus.
Okay, so she didn't do anything, but I think the idea was just to have her around and keep being a nuisance to both Bobby and MVP because they're going to cost him the title at Backlash. They completely different pay-per-view, which the Black Masters uprise against all the white oppression over the years. But so it's either that it's gonna happen, or as I post the question in the mid-card match, hey, you think they're gonna give Bobby the belt for Black Lives Matter?
Well, I would hope they don't give him the belt because WWE has done this before where they've rode the momentum and they've give somebody the title. But I think the sad part about that is that if you give him the belt just because you're trying to be with the people, then people are already going to interpret that he's not a real champion. So it's only going to be a temporary cause. I forgot who won the title this February for like Black History Month that had the belt for a couple of weeks. It might have been this year or last year. So to me, it's disingenuous. At the same time, Drew McIntyre to me is an established champion. Like, he walks the walk, he talks the talk. And I'm happy that Bobby and Drew are having this feud, but at the same time, it irks me because I felt that this feud happened too soon because I think both men are deserving of the championship, and I don't know what to do and how I feel because, yes, I would like to see Bobby win, but do I really want to jeopardize the reign of Drew McIntyre? So I think you're correct when you say that Lana is somehow going to cost Bobby this match just so we can maybe venture off to someplace else. Where that someplace else is, I don't know. But like, I really think McIntyre is going to win this match. Manny, do you disagree or do you understand? Like, what do you feel about that?
I think I answered Marcus's question on the thread on his mid-card mess, but
you did. You did.
I very much don't think it's a good idea to do that because being a champion means more, and I would rather, and I think Bobby Lashley would rather feel like he earned the title rather than just been given it in a time of like racial distress. So like, yeah. I feel Bobby will get the title at some point, but we just have to wait for that to happen. But like, yeah. I still think Drew down the line at Backlash. I don't think it will be the best match ever, but it will be. I feel Drew will still probably come up with, as Eric said, with Lana interruption. Hopefully with Rusev. I want Rusev back.
I mean, for me, I remember the match that Bobby and McIntyre had in TNA, and it wasn't a bad match. I think that they have a solid chemistry with each other. I just think that Lana in this whole role, I don't need her there. It's like she's a nuisance, and I kind of know that she is the way out. And for me, how the match ended was like a flip dive by McIntyre, which is still impressive to see a man of that size do that type of dive. And then he hits the Claymore on MVP for the win. It was just at that point where, Lana, you just walked down to ringside. You didn't do anything. You just walked down there. It's like you've been clamoring to get back down to ringside. You didn't yell. You didn't do anything. It's like, what the hell was this about? And for me, I understand Drew was the champion, but this probably wasn't the way Monday Night Raw should have ended because I don't think it ended a better way. I thought the match
abruptly.
I thought the match before would have been a better ending, and that was between Charlotte and Asuka. And Charlotte won via countout because early in the night, Nia Jax destroyed Kairi Sane and busted her open as Marcus raised his hand.
Okay, before we move on, I had a question. What do you think about Bobby's new knockout, basically the full Nelson? Do you think that's the better way to go with him other than, I guess it was the spear? I don't honestly know what Bobby's knockout was before that, but he wasn't really doing the full Nelson. I think it's incredible, the master lock that he had. It's really credible.
Well, given that he was the first person to break the master lock, I feel like it's perfect for him to use.
And then
I don't even remember that storyline.
And then I remember. Yeah, I remember it. He was the first one to break, and I thought like that's an amazing callback.
And then on top of that, with Edge being back, and we all know outside of Goldberg, the Spear and Roman, like I don't think Bobby needed. And then plus with Bobby's size, the full Nelson, this looks like a better finisher anyway. I kind of wish he would go back to the Dominator because Dominator is still one of my favorite finishers. That shout out to Ron Simmons. Every time I create a wrestler in any wrestling game, my finishing move was always the Dominator. Fuck yeah.
You just can't do it on everybody realistically.
That is true.
Imagine him trying to do that to Drew McIntyre.
But I mean, it's very similar to when you go to AEW and you look at Brian Cage. He can't do the drill claw on everybody, and every time he does the drill claw on some of the smaller wrestlers, I'm like, well, there go their career. I just but I'm not trying to jump right then and there. So early in the night, Nia Jax busted open Kairi Sane, and it was the controversy of like she's unsafe to work with and things of that nature. That's neither here nor there. We're talking about the match between Charlotte and Asuka, and
we're not going to talk about that,
Marcus. We will, because it seems like you're very excited.
We're not going to talk about her killing somebody.
Well, Marcus, you really want to speak on that?
We can wait.
Okay. So the main event is Charlotte versus Asuka, and I think anybody who's watched professional wrestling, you probably didn't expect a legit finish or a 1, 2, 3 for either Asuka or Charlotte because they love Charlotte, and Asuka is also the Empress of Tomorrow. What I enjoyed about the match is how much shit Charlotte was talking about. I ended your streak. I beat you. Like, pretty much, bitch, you can't beat me. The match is going on. Then next thing you know, Nia Jax walks out to the ring, and she's like the supersized version of Asuka with the face paint and everything. And this distracts Asuka because it's beat down on sight because of what she did to Kairi Sane earlier in the night. And it lets Charlotte get the win via countout. I thought this would have been a better match to end Raw on compared to Lashley and MVP. Manny, what was your take from this match?
It was such a good match. Like a lot of the matches this week on Raw, there was solid matches, but with exception to the opening match with Seth Rollins and Aleister Black, a lot of them just didn't have any finishes. And I understand, like, you don't want to give away massive finishes to matches that mean something, and then you could probably make more money down the line. But like this one, I was like hoping to get a definitive ending because it's like these two are the top of the women's division, and it's a match you really want to. I want to see this match again myself. I haven't seen this match in a very long time, and it's like I want to watch this again and have an actual ending to it.
And it was another match on the card that didn't have an ending. Marcus, yourself, I mean, you could speak on the Kairi Sane situation, and you can also, you were a correspondent from the hospital checking on Kairi Sane, and also the quality of the match.
Sources close to me. No, but more importantly, I really enjoyed the match that they have, and I really like Manny said, these are two of the best in the game right now, and they probably are saving their actual real match for SummerSlam because I don't believe Charlotte is making out this weekend on NXT or the In Your House with the title. I think somebody else is winning, and it would be a good transition from the Nia Jax and Asuka, because Asuka, I believe, is going to beat Nia Jax. Or, to piss off the world, you give Nia Jax that belt. I don't know how you want to go with that, but they can go either way. But I suggest that they keep it with Asuka. And then you go with Charlotte and Asuka at SummerSlam, which will be a marquee match for SummerSlam whenever it happens. But this was a tremendous match. And like you guys said, it's been a lot of wrestling lately where it's been a lot of in WWE, it's been a lot of convoluted finishes or no finishes at all. Like Aleister had I guess it's convoluted, but he got the pin. This one had crazy stuff going on, but it just seems like they're putting matches together, and they know they can't have a finish. So they should probably avoid some of this shit.
I mean, speaking of the non-finish of matches and stuff like that, I think one of the bigger disappointments of Monday Night Raw had to be when Apollo Crews came out to ringside, and of course. As Cody Rhodes thought he was a trendsetter last week, talking about he's going to defend his title every week, every day, every week on the show. It seems like the United States champion is doing that, and also the Intercontinental champion might be on track to do that also. But Apollo Crews said that he wanted to challenge somebody who was well deserving of a shot at the U.S. title, and he challenged Kevin Owens. And at that point, my ears perked up, got excited, got on the edge of my couch. I was like, this is going to be a good match. I was not surprised when Andrade and Garza came down to ringside and interrupted this match. I just think for me, the thing that I always have issues with is when these things happen. We had a one-on-one match that broke down, and then it just transitions into this tag match that just, for no reason, this tag match should have taken place. Like, someone got bumped from the show. But at the same time, Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens defeated Andrade and Garza, and it was a solid match, but I'd rather they would have had booked that match to begin with. Marcus, were you upset with the bait and switch, or did it just...
I'm sick of the bait and switch. I'm sick of this one. They do it on all the shows. All the WWE shows. I'm so sick of the bait and switch of we're having a regular match, two guys interfere, now it's a tag match. They've done this, I feel like they do at least 3 times a week. Or maybe twice a week if you look at all the shows. Whether it's NXT, in which they did it with the mixed tag match with Keith Lee and Candice and Gargano, or if you did it here, but at least 2 times a week on WWE program, you get this situation in which something divulges into a tag match that started off as a singles match. And logically, if I was in this match, if I was Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens, if I'm fighting another match and I'm Kevin Owens, let's just restart our match. Tell these guys that, fuck off. That'd be my strategy. Fuck off, man. Get out of here. I mean, the referee's going to throw it out, or you going to restart the match? No, we can just use the time to continue our match and tell these guys to get the fuck out of here.
Now, Manny, I thought you was finished. Go
I do. No, I'm never finished.
I'm never finished.
You never.
I'm never finished.
Although you're called the grand finale, you never finish.
I never finish. Yeah, it's just goes on and on. I do want Apollo and Kevin, because remember last week we were looking for a spot for KO. This is his spot right here. He could be feuding with Apollo, turn KO heel, and he feuds with Apollo, and gets his belt. And they fight for that belt.
Okay, now Marcus has finished, and
I'm not finished, but I'm done.
I had a question that I was going to ask Manny as he was going to comment on this, but I don't remember the question. So Manny, speak on this, and hopefully the question will pop into my head again.
Speak. I just the bait and switch is always quite funny, because do you remember? I think it was maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. You had 2 bait and switches, and it involved Zelina again, and then where it was, and then the Street Profits and Bianca Belair, and then it was like 3 different matches till you eventually got to a 6-person tag.
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Oh, that was like on and on. If that was like the 2nd or 3rd week of the Performance Center matches, because I remember they took up the whole entire first hour of Raw. It was just like,
no, you know what that was? That was the first Raw. That was Raw after Mania. Oh, that was Bianca Belair's Raw debut,
and we haven't seen her really since.
They did a package, and then they haven't followed up with that. But I mean, it's like, where do you put her in this situation though? Because like she doesn't have anybody really to feud with, because it's like Nia Jax is with Asuka, Charlotte is just showing up on every show. So I don't think that WWE is in that business where they're just gonna put somebody out with jobbers, certain characters that are established.
And that's why they need more call-ups in the women's division. I mean, NXT has all the glory down there. They have all the glory. They have every single great women's wrestler out there, including Charlotte, who goes there on Wednesday nights.
Well,
they need to share the wealth and give some to SmackDown and Raw.
A side note, and this might have been a question I was going to ask Manny, and I will ask him this one. Manny, where do you think they're going with this Garza situation and him flirting with Chuck backstage and him giving her a rose, and then Selena Vega's like, bitch, here's your rose, which I thought might have been the most petty moment.
That was the most pettiest thing I've ever seen. And then the way she just took the rose, ripped it, and then gave her back just a stem and was like, boo freaking who?
I wanted to see Selena Vega's heel XP go up at that point. If this was an RPG, she got heel points for sure by tearing that rose up. Like, just go, leveled up.
Because I don't even know where this goes other than like just heels giving backstage interviews shit. every time just for being there. Because like I remember fully when the New Day were heels and they just healed it up in front of like Tom, anyone that was backstage, when JoJo was backstage. I was like, I feel like it just adds more, but like you're supposed to feel bad for the person they're doing it to, but I'm just there like, this is hilarious.
No, it is, because like I'm assuming that WWE assumes that the good casual portion of the audience does not watch NXT. But I recall when Garza won the Cruiserweight Championship, he dropped down to one knee and proposed to his longtime girlfriend. Now, there is no mention of his girlfriend. I'm assuming the engagement fell off, and he's trying to get Chuck. And Marcus has told me Chuck is a lesbian and plays on the other team. And however,
What?
that's Marcus told me this. I've never heard this, but this is like a.
You heard this. This is a fact.
I don't know, but at the same time, Garza in his pursuit, but his manager being very salty about him trying to pursue Chuck is hilarious, because clearly Vega and Chuck don't like each other. Don't know what the beef is, but they don't like each other. Speaking of people who we thought didn't like each other, but they seem like they're having a great time hanging out with each other, that is the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. And they are at the bowling alley this week. And for me, the segment was fine, but I thought it was the least productive one because I thought it was a tad bit too long. I've been to a bowling alley that has smoke in there, and technically they should have been kicked out the bowling alley long time ago. Marcus, am I right in that estimation?
What did they do?
He went into the kitchen, Marcus, and he took the chicken wings or the turkey legs.
Well, number one thing is that you don't eat bowling. You don't get anything other than like French fries and shit. But I don't even know in post-pandemic how bowling alleys are going to survive. And what bowling alley did they find that was allowing them to go in right now? Because bowling alleys are the most unhygienic, unclean place you can be at. I mean, people just sitting there wrangling finger and balls, and then they're eating, and shit's going on. Shit's going on at the bowling alley. And I enjoyed the segment, but as always, I was like, it seemed long.
Maddie,
it doesn't make sense, by the way, either.
I just want to point out, every time I think Marcus is finished, I try to throw it to Maddie, and then Marcus is like, I got one more thing, one more minute. Maddie, do you just want these guys to get the match and just get it over with, or do you need more segments?
I just want the match done, because it's like they're prolonging this and it's going on forever. What's next? What next before this next match that's going to happen?
It's 2-2, right? They both have 2 victories. I mean,
we're gonna play horseshoe.
I mean,
they announced what they were doing next, and I forgot what it was.
Cornhole, maybe? No.
Nah.
In the tail on the donkey.
So the
How about competitive swimming?
Come on, Marcus. You know that's already a disadvantage right there. Come on. It's not even right, Marcus. You have Vikings who are allegedly own the ships, and then you have like b-ball players. I don't think Dawkins can get me a 400 meters in the pool. I just don't think he can. I don't think he got the form.
Or maybe synchronized swimming.
No,
they still need swim. Figure skating?
No, that's Brandy Rose area.
They go hockey.
They could do hockey. But I think they're already 2 up, so it should be just one explanation. You need to have a match. It has to be a match for the titles. Just get it over with. So Raw, the segment is about to conclude, but we could not end talking about Raw without talking about the greatest wrestling match ever. Shawn Michaels chimed in on this week's episode of Raw. He picked Edge to win the greatest wrestling match ever. And then, I believe Edge had a promo, but he didn't say anything of any importance for me. I think Randy's Orton promo.
No, Orton.
Was it just Orton that had a promo? You know what? I took my own notes. You are right.
Yeah, Orton just said how he loves watching the WWE Network.
Yeah, no, like he pretty much
been catching up on Ride Along.
He watched every goddamn thing on the WWE Network, which is now apparently free, which might be something you guys could talk about on Tuesday. What does this mean for the network going forward? Stay tuned for that. But he was kind of upset with Ric Flair because Ric Flair endorsed Edge. But you know what? Edge is just jealous.
Ric Flair endorsed Orton.
Yes. No, I thought he did Edge. It doesn't matter. But at this point, Marcus, Randy Orton might be the master of shade. He said, and I quote, Edge is just jealous of Randy because Randy half-assed his entire career and he still has more accomplishments than Edge could ever have. And I was just like, damn. So he said he wasn't even trying and I'm better than you. Manny,
he was Orange Cassidy the whole time.
Has there been something that you didn't even try, but you was better than somebody that you worked with?
Yeah, but there's a lot of instances when that happens. I hate it. Like, even when I was at university, I remember having a conversation with someone that I met up with someone at university a while ago. I ended up with a 2-1 as a degree. But then my friend was telling me, like, could you imagine if you actually tried? You could have left university with a first-class degree, and you probably wouldn't be doing the job you're doing right now. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, imagine if I did try and did not spend all my time procrastinating or trying to work out ways of how not to do something.
I think we all have
story of my life.
We all have university stories where we're in college and you're in college and. For me, I was in college and I was like, man, I really don't want to do this shit. But damn, I've already been here for a year and a half and I've invested all this money, so I might as well finish. And so when I finally finished, I was like, well, and they said it's 1 more extra year, I get a bachelor's degree. Might as well get that bachelor's degree, which I did. However, had no inclination to go into the field that I wanted to do. Yes, at one point in my life, I wanted to work on satellites. But then you realize there's a lot of fucking math involved in doing space and shit. And calculus and derivatives and all that good shit was not up my alley. And so, yeah, I decided to go work.
You got to the podcasting business.
Yeah, got to the podcasting business. And I did a pretty shit job of that because we ain't made that much money from this. You know.
But you're 10 years strong. You're 10 years plus strong.
Yeah, I mean, we started in 2005. And now it's, once again, you see my math problems in this situation.
15 years,
15 years.
Once again, why I can't work on satellites. My math skills are not the best. Marcus, have you ever not tried at something but been better than somebody else and you want to call that person out about it?
That's called every week on this podcast. When I'm on the show with you, homie, dang, got him with the burn.
Nah, man.
Or how about the time we played 2K? I don't even play. I play once a year, and I come over your house, and I beat you in the tears, and you need to come up. Let's do another one. And I'm like, yeah. And then you want to put it on that, and I just beat you. You got to pick your team, and pick this team, and I beat your ass. But, you know, most of my high school years, it was just more like, let me just get this over with. I'm going to just do enough to get that C, the pass, even though I probably could have got an A in any of these classes. I just chose. It was like a lot of it, like, I didn't care. No motivation. Even at work, when there's like, you know, we have to learn all these games, I didn't put as much effort into it, but I was still like really good at it. And I was like, you know, I didn't care. And I see people struggling. Like, man, you struggling.
Well, shout out to the 3 live viewers in the that's watching this show live. I really appreciate that. Marcus, Woo! Let me just also point out something to you, Marcus. And I didn't want to do this to you on the show because I know you have a fragile ego. Marcus, you know, I let you win those 2Ks because I know how sensitive you are when you lose, Marcus. And because it takes you very, Marcus, you're the man who got mad when you lost at Madden. So I understand who you are.
Hold on. No. Let me correct you on that, Eric. Let me correct you on that. I'm the man to get mad when I lose in anything.
Yes.
Okay? Anything. So when I beat you in 2K, I am not trying because I feel like you have practiced and you've played all those times.
Which
I have an Xbox One over there. I have not turned it on in probably 17 years. But I will beat your ass today,
Marcus,
if I had a chance.
You're not doing anything today, huh?
Not really. I don't think so. I may watch the Man Nunez later.
Oh, because I may come pick you up.
Kill somebody.
I may come pick you up.
Somebody's gonna get his ass whooped.
I may come pick you up so I can teach you how to use the software, so you can conduct it on the show.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, teach me a little bit. I'm going to fight your ass right now.
So,
my daddy, you don't pick me up.
So, with that being said, like I said, I have taken my own notes for the show, so we're going to move on. And we're going to talk about SmackDown, because SmackDown will not take a lot of time on this show. I can't imagine us spending more than 10 minutes on SmackDown, because SmackDown really didn't have anything that happened SmackDown had one of the most disappointing fucking follow-ups I've ever had in my entire life.
No, I'm going to tell you how disappointed I am in SmackDown. I swore today was the day. I was ready to see Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles wrestle in what I assume is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. I was ready. I was on the edge of my seat. I was all prepared. I was like that dude in the zoo, rubbing my hands, backing up, ready to go. But I was ready for this match. And when I learned that I was not getting this match, I was immediately deflated. And then Jeff Hardy walked out. And it made everything worse.
No, see, that was my issue.
Everything worse.
Like, Jeff Hardy, the charismatic enigma. There's many things Jeff Hardy is good at. He's good at putting his life on the line. He's good at getting in trouble. He's good at doing stuff. But the one thing that he does not excel at,
passed out with alcohol over him.
he does not excel at giving promos. And the fact that WWE did not have any footage of a man assaulting Jeff Hardy, instead that we had to sit there and take his word that he was hit upside the head by something extremely painful, and then the next thing you know, he woke up smelling like alcohol, and he had to question himself. What did he do? Did he let his family down again? Did he have to beg for forgiveness? Was the biggest letdown. Motherfucker, you have the computer hacker man. The computer hacker man was supposed to give me fucking footage of a man with a red hair and a red beard run away from the scene.
Maybe the computer hacker man was busy with more American issues, Eric.
No. The computer hacker man been furloughed, guys. He was deemed non-essential.
But like the whole story that Jeff Hardy outlined, that he was at the police station passing all the tests, but then some witness came in and said that they saw some redheaded. I'm like, why wasn't that witness asked those questions at the scene of the crime? Like,
this story is completely convoluted.
Yes.
And I believe there's still an investigation pending, and someone's going to jail.
But then,
wait, hold on.
The situation.
The champion was a witness last week, and he still didn't have a clue who did it.
No. And so with Sheamus,
the champion, it was snitch. My whole thing with this whole confession is that, or this whole thing, is Jeff Hardy doesn't even know if he's innocent or guilty. It seemed like he said that he slipped up and he may have to still explain to his kids what happened here. I mean, I'm assuming the officers checked his blood alcohol level, and why not, him saying they checked my blood alcohol level and it was clearly nothing in me. There was nothing in me. I don't even know why they didn't say that.
But for me,
he just came out there and assumed he was hit over the head with an anvil, and Larry Looney Tune passed out covered in alcohol.
So
in Europe.
This segment just took me back to one of my favorite moments in wrestling history. It was when wrestling went off the script, and I forgot. I think it's when Brett got screwed or something like that, and Sid Vicious walked out to the ring talking about, I don't know shit. And so pretty much when
the cage match for WrestleMania 13.
When Sheamus walked out to the ring, Jeff, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Once again, you try to blame everybody for your problems, and you always has an excuse. He just needs to be a man and admit what he has done, but because he won't admit it, because he is just a junkie, and his family knows he is a failure, Marcus. At this point, did you feel bad for Jeff, Marcus, or did you side with Sheamus?
Well, first of all, I'm still on this police investigation thing, and have they brought in Sheamus for questioning? Because Jeff Hardy should have already pointed out orange hair, red beard, and someone that has a vendetta against me. That's gotta be Sheamus, man. I feel like that's what Jeff Hardy was saying. But I believe he should have been brought in for questioning. But due to Sheamus' white privilege, he was never brought in.
What, Jeff doesn't have the privilege either, Marcus?
Well, he's a junkie.
Oh, you're right. He does got a record.
He's a junkie.
But
he doesn't have that privilege anymore. Junkies lose that privilege. Sheamus is privileged that he hasn't been investigated. I bet you there's some black man in jail right now getting set up for attacking Jeff Hardy.
At this point, though, Manny, I asked you this question because this is SmackDown, and SmackDown, it pretty much became a brawl between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. And normally when we have this ends up being the main event of the show. However, nothing came of this. They had this pull apart, and we had no other mention of Sheamus and Jeff Hardy.
I don't think it was a pull apart. I think Sheamus ended it.
Yeah, Sheamus hit him with a pro kick and walked in.
Oh yeah, he threw him through all the plexiglass. I mean, you're right. I forgot about that aspect. But the thing is, I just felt like this left me unfulfilled because right after this segment, we went down a road we really didn't want to go down. Manny, do you have anything else you want to talk about on Jeff and Sheamus, or do I go to that road that we didn't want to go down?
You need to go to the road, Eric.
So right after this segment,
condensing this show and skipping shit out. You're gonna add this segment?
You don't even know what road I'm talking about, Marcus.
It's Mandy and Baron Corbin.
Well, you're dead right I am, because Marcus directly firing a hot fire segment of Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. They cut backstage where you have Mandy and fucking Otis walking backstage, and for whatever reason, I'm assuming Baron Corbin had to go take a boo-boo. I don't know why he left his crowd at his coat. He had to go boo-boo, and Mandy, and like Otis said, oh, Mandy, should I put it on? And he put it on, and the first thing that went into my mind was, fuck, he looks like a better king than Baron Corbin. Because when I see a king is fat, he eats turkey legs, and I was like, yeah, goddamn right. And then
he looked like a Baratheon.
This led to a match, and I'm holding my pen, that nobody, and I mean nobody, has ever said that we want to see Otis versus Baron Corbin. Under no circumstances.
You better open your hand. Why?
I've always wanted to see it. But no, that's not why I raised my hand. It wasn't about this match at all. My question is, so Eric, as you expressed, Baron Corbin went to go take a boo-boo, number 2. He went to go poopy. He's taking a shit, for those who don't speak English.
I don't even know what that means.
If you were a king, or if you're at Burger King and you got one of those crowns, do you shit with the crown on your head?
Yeah, because I would, because you're not sitting on a throne.
Yeah, I mean,
the toilet's a throne for many people.
Yeah, you got shit with the crown on your head. So that's the part to me that made no sense about this segment. I understood the cow or the cape being there, but the throne, you shit on the toilet with your crown on.
It's just bad for me when the crown looks better on your opponent than it does. It was such a meaningless match. It just and then I had troubles with this match because I know you guys don't remember this match, but watching this match, Baron Corbin was doing small man offense. And that was very weird for me to watch, where they're having Otis be the big guy in the match and Baron Corbin is a small. When Baron Corbin hopped on the back of Otis and was trying to put him to sleep, I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now? And I just said, God damn it, SmackDown ain't gonna be shit this week. And that's just how I felt.
I'm going to chime in and say, even though this match was something I did not want, even though I said earlier I did want it, this is a match I did not want. Better than I thought it would be.
Yes, but your expectations were low.
My expectations were low. And so it was better than I thought it would be. I was expecting, oh my God, these two lumbering idiots are about to do some shit. And it's going to be absolutely horrible. Turns out, it ended with another WWE non-finish because apparently they need to protect Baron Corbin, who is doing nothing. He's doing nothing.
And the sad part about Baron Corbin, he deserves better than this. He needs to be traded to Raw or someplace. He needs to get out of it. Well, he needs to take off the crown.
No, I don't feel sympathy for Baron Corbin. I feel sympathy for Mandy. She deserves better than this.
No, I don't. I give Mandy no sympathy right now. I feel like seeing her with Otis, as much as I like it because of a big guy and like the big guy got the girl at the end of the story, we all know that's not really reality.
Hey, he still gets to make out with her in the pre-tape.
I get that, but like I feel like suddenly in my eyes she feels very unattractive.
Manny,
she's been punished by management.
Let me speak on this real quick because Marcus, so you feel sorry for Mandy, right, Marcus? The same Mandy Rose that later cost Sonya Deville a match against Lacey Evans because she hopped up on the Tron and just said that, I think she called Deville a loser, and then that's how Deville lost the match. And I was just like, what the fuck are we watching on this show? What are we watching?
Can we move to that match? Can we move to that match now?
Yeah, real quick. That's all I was going to say about the match. If you have more to add, feel free to add it.
I enjoy the Lacey Evans Sonya Deville matches, and they need to happen every week for the next 18 weeks. So, I don't know how long we're going to do it.
Don't you tempt fate, because that might happen.
Yeah, I enjoy the matches, and Sonya's move when she did the neck breaker onto the apron, onto her knee on the outside, I thought Lacey Evans died in that case. But the thing that I wanted to talk about this match was the ref bump that I don't know what happened.
His knee?
Oh, no, yeah, I didn't understand that either. Like, they rolled into him and then he just died.
Yeah, he couldn't walk no more. He popped the ACL.
I felt like did he really get hurt because everything kind of stopped. They paused. More referees came out. They went to commercial and had no thing to the finish. Like I thought maybe he was gonna come back and they were gonna do some type of double referee count. There was nothing involving that.
No,
it was just it seemed like a clever way to go to a commercial break, maybe. But I have no idea. Maybe he really got hurt. Like it was one of those things where I was confused.
And for me, the DeVille Evans match was probably one of the better matches on the show, and it just had such a bizarre ending. I was just like, Mandy Rose, go back and just be, like it. I don't know if you can make money with Mandy now. I'm a little torn right now. Ooh.
I don't like her. I don't like that she has to dress up like Tucker Knight. They're really limiting her outfit choices to being Tucker Knight.
There's only two more things to talk about.
That's why I felt sorry for Mandy, because she has to be Tucker Knight. They recast Tucker Knight and she's Mandy Rose.
There's only two more things worth talking about on SmackDown. One of those being Marcus, as he called it, the bait and switch. He thought it was going to be AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan this week. However, we had a conference, and pretty much AJ talking about Daniel Bryan calling AJ a coward, Daniel Bryan indicating that he's going to be Cody Rhodes and defend his title every week. My question, and I'm going to ask this question to Manny. Manny, do you think the only reason why Cody Rhodes decided he was going to defend his TNT championship because he heard that SmackDown was taped and he knew Daniel Bryan said that, so he wanted to beat him to the punch?
I definitely feel like that was the thing, but like with Daniel Bryan, at least you know you're getting at least a 4-star match a week. Whereas like with Cody, you're getting a very average match. And Daniel Bryan can do it without blood and do it without a table spot. I feel very angry about some match that happened on AEW this week.
Manny, calm down, Manny. We're gonna be to AEW soon. It's gonna be there. We're gonna be there.
That's the thing. When we get to open challenges, I expect that I want to actually see this person compete. Like, I want to see Daniel Bryan versus a variety of opponents. Hell, if AJ Styles, who said he's going to duck everybody and only fight people who earn it, which is a valid point, I want to see him fight people in a weekly challenge, because I think he did an invitational at one point. Kurt Angle, John Cena, you always intrigued. Cody Rhodes does not fit that bill for me. It's like, I need to see this dude wrestle every week. Now, if it was Kenny Omega saying, I'm going to fight different opponents each week, I'm like, I'd like to see what Kenny does. Or even Ray Phoenix or Pentagon or something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm really frustrated with that. Cody, it's more to Cody, not Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan didn't do anything wrong other than not have his match this week. But Drew Gulak won.
Yeah, I mean, it was Gulak versus AJ. It was a good match. I was shocked to see Gulak win. Guess what? A new contract lets you get victories over AJ Styles. You know, go figure.
First thing in his contract, I need to beat one of the A-stars. I need to beat one of the stars of your show. We can be AJ.
An honorable mention is that Sasha Banks and Bayley are the new women's tag team champions 2-time.
Honorable mention?
This was a really good match.
It was.
This is a main event, and it was a really good match. Like, I would have skipped 90% of this show. Like, your notes would have just been this match for me. Maybe Sonya Deville and Lacey Evans in the wrap up.
No,
but other than that, it would have been this.
Mark, I think
you're like,
Marcus,
honorable mention, moving on.
I think because what more are we gonna say? It was a very good match. They teased the dissension between Sasha and Bayley again. And Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are no longer champions, and it's a happy day for me. I have nothing else I need to add after that. I mean...
Yeah, but maybe I do. Maybe Manny does.
Do you have something to add, Marcus?
Yes, I do. Yes, I certainly do. Okay?
Exactly. Manny, do you have something to add?
I love the slow dissension between Sasha and Bayley. Like, you had it a few weeks ago when Sasha didn't believe in Bayley that she could beat Charlotte, and then you had and now you got this week where Bayley tagged herself in, and then like, get out of the ring, get out.
but
Bailey was up. I was like, Bailey, what are you doing?
Like my whole thing
that was
is
my
though.
favorite moment of the match.
My whole thing is though is that like Sasha is not the good guy. They paint her as the good guy, but it's hard because Bailey should go back being the good guy, and it troubles me.
No, I disagree. I think because I keep going back and forth for this. I think Bailey lately has been doing exceptional work as being a heel. She's upped her shit talking game. She's being very over the top. She criticizes Michael Cole on a daily, secondly basis. And her tagging in Sasha for the ego stroke of I want to get the pin was a real bait and switch because I went into this match thinking this is the end of Sasha and Bailey's friendship and they're going to break up and we're about to get what you've been asking for years on the main roster, Sasha Bailey rivalry.
Well, that's going to happen when Sasha and Bailey fight the one team that they can't beat, the Iconics. Because the Iconics are the one that took the titles off of Sasha and Bailey before. So they're going to do it again. That's the greatest thing about it.
Too. Like, the Iconics is building all this momentum to get the tag team titles. And now they have no chance of getting them because Sasha and Bailey ain't going to Raw.
They're going to get the titles.
Do you know what? That was the other thing that we didn't bring up in the Raw report, but I did notice when I was just watching it. There was a woman, a blonde woman that was standing next to Eric's girl, Jaili, in the audience when the Iconics rolled out. And she was booing. She was wearing an Iconic shirt, and then was booing the Iconics, which didn't make any sense.
They just gave them shirts to put on. They don't know who they're cheering.
Wait a minute. For the record, and I'm notorious. This is Eric can vouch for me. I've worn wrestler shirts, cheered for the other wrestler, and in the same match, cheered for that wrestler I was booing 4 minutes earlier.
Just because I'm that type of man, and I'm going to take some extra time. Marcus is correct. At the Ring of Honor show, he was forced to buy a Roderick Strong shirt. He was so upset about having this Roderick Strong shirt, but it was the only shirt they had at his side. So during the match, he's talking bad shit about Roderick Strong, like, fuck Roderick Strong, still wearing the Roderick Strong shirt. After the show, we're walking around the casino, and who do we run into? Roderick Strong. And this man right here, although he was talking mad shit about Roderick Strong all night, high fives Roddy, and it's like, yeah, that's Roderick Strong right there, because Roderick Strong was shocked that somebody was wearing one of his shirts. That's a day in sharpshooter history right there. The one thing left to talk about on Friday Night SmackDown, we have to talk about the immatureness, the antics, the money that Miz and Morrison spent to prank Braun Strowman. I could give a damn about Braun Strowman, but I will point out that Miz and Morrison was teaching us how to deal with annoying coworkers. And Morrison,
that's what they were doing.
Morrison, that's what they said, Marcus. This is how you deal with annoying coworker. And Morrison said, and I quote, "This is how we do it on Friday night." And he quoted the great Montel Jordan, and I enjoyed it. First, they had his protein powder explode on him. Don't know how he knew exactly that was going to happen. Then
how did he get the mechanics of that to work?
Then
because Braun Strowman is a creature of habit.
Yes.
I think with Braun Strowman, he didn't even have to show up to work today.
Then
he was just there.
Then the argument of Miz questioning if John Morrison set up the slime on the right side, except that he set it up camera left. And it got Kayla Braxton. And the way Kayla Braxton stormed off, I thought she was about to get some revenge. And then I felt Miz and Morrison cross the line where they vandalized Braun Strowman's car, which I question if Braun Strowman can fit into that vehicle, because I don't think he can.
He got out. They showed him walk out.
Yes.
He can fit that vehicle. I was worried about that last week when he was the witness and he didn't know what was going on. And this week they showed him.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's happening in the world. I'm like, oh.
And despite
rioting and looting out there.
And despite all this that is going on, the one thing I could not stop looking at was how bad Braun Strowman's haircut was. That is like the worst haircut in the game. Marcus, you talked about this segment. You enjoyed this segment. Did you appreciate Miz and Morrison being petty?
So the one thing I would change, there's a few things I would change in this segment. Number one, I didn't need a random hand out there pointing out that they were in the van. I needed Kyla Braxton to go, bro, they out there. They messed up my hair and my outfit.
My red dress.
In the van.
I feel like she deserved it, to be honest. Because she's been driving wedges between people for weeks.
You're 100% right. The second thing I had issues with is how many cameras did they have set up on that van? By the way, if they sold those sunglasses with the hey, hey, ho, ho, I would honestly buy it.
Marcus.
I would honestly buy that.
Marcus, I bet you they're on WWE Shop right now. Marcus, you know they are.
I'm pretty sure they are. But I would honestly buy that. I'll buy that with my Tamina shirt. But they had so many cameras on that van. It made no sense if they were looking out the van and Braun Strowman was looking, right there. Like, where was that camera anyway? Oh, the vandalism. I feel like they went too far. That's not a prank. That's somebody about to get shot over some shit.
They went too far.
I see J.R. Smith beat a 12-year-old kid who looked like a 12-year-old kid to death over them trying to smash his stuff in this car. So I thought we were about to get a reenactment of that. I thought they could have did more damage to the car, but you're saving money for, I guess, Braun Strowman and his actual car. I don't know, but I enjoyed it. It was petty, it was ridiculous, and I hope Braun Strowman loses his title.
Manny, I'm gonna go to you. You've known to have annoying coworkers. Is this the proper way to deal with annoying coworkers in this situation?
With slime. I feel like a good sliming would be quite. Wait, no, that sounds wrong. But
give you a little sliming, huh? A little sliming. How you like that?
Yeet ski to the window, to the wall.
To me, it just felt like it was like a really bad Miz and Morrison prank show that was. I'm like,
I think that's what they were going for. Just a bad version of the punk.
I really enjoyed it, and I feel like they could have done more because it definitely felt like the early days of the dirt sheet.
But it always ends with the same thing of Braun Strowman's really strong and he's gonna flip shit over, and that's how it ended. I mean, that was SmackDown in a whole. So now we've had a lot of happiness. We talked about Raw. We found happiness in Raw. We talked about SmackDown. We even found happiness in SmackDown. I'm going to say, All Elite Wrestling, I don't know how much happiness I'm going to find. And it all started off with them giving us an opening, talking about how Black Lives Matters to them. And, Tony Khan was out there firing things off, talking about Linda Hogan, you're never welcome to a AEW show. But as Marcus pointed out, I think of last week, she wasn't showing up anyway.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Linda Hogan has never actually been on a single wrestling show ever. I don't think ever. And why would she even show up to AEW, randomly show up? And then, it was a weird flex.
Then we also have people on Twitter going crazy, like Sunny talking about white power and all that, because nobody wants to watch her dirty sex tapes and stuff like that. But despite all that
making money, people want to see her dirty sex tapes. It's disgusting. Those people, I question, they're disgusting and they need to seek help.
But despite all that going on, and even with Jackson Ryder making his comments, to me, the opening that AEW did, talking about how they support Black lives and how they do this, it did not feel genuine. To me, it looked like somebody opened up a Keynote or PowerPoint and they made a quick thing like, we need to type something put in front of the show. Let's type the words out. I just don't know if I felt it was authentic. And then the product afterwards did not match what they were talking about. Marcus, what happened? Wait,
Well, Manny sent a text that we're not all the same size, that there's no level to the way we are. It's like, I'm very small, you're up here, up there. And so I just did a slight scoot up to the camera. So, do I think their opening is genuine? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not judging people on their statements they wrote this week, except for Ben and Jerry's, who get an A+ for effort. Like if I was a teacher grading classes on all their Black Lives Matter or we're all equality, Drew Brees would get the F, and everybody else will probably be in the middle, but Ben and Jerry's get the A. I don't honestly care. The point is that they put it out there. They said they really care. They stood for what they believed in, that Black Lives Matter, and they could proceed to job every black person in the company and give them zero mic time. And normally we didn't care. We didn't care about this. But lately, it just seems like after a million different tape shows that something would come of this, and then nothing has changed at all. God damn you, AEW.
Manny, you seem
damn
like
you, AEW.
Manny, you were about to say something, but you didn't know when Marcus was going to finish. It's your turn to speak.
I don't necessarily feel like the Big Swole match she actually jobbed. I feel like she did lose, but like I felt like she did get herself over a lot more. So and then they looked like they were going somewhere with her and Britt Baker, but I didn't. But everything else, like where I think there were only two black people in matches this week on AEW.
It was Nyla Rose and Big Swole.
And then Chris Jericho and was it someone in a jobber?
Oh, it was we can get to that because I have notes on this. So with that being said, if you guys saw AEW Dark what they advertised for the upcoming week, all I was like, loss. Oh, another loss. It's really bad. Pineapple Pete is going to be on there. Sonny Kiss is having a match, and he might win, but I'm not 100% sure. But
I don't think so.
With that being said, AEW started off with a match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. As we know, Sabian, Superbad, Kip Sabian, teaming up.
You wanted to call him Chris Sabian.
I did. I almost messed up. Teamed up with his boy Jimmy Havoc to go against Kenny Omega and Adam Page. I need to make an announcement, and people, this might come shocking to you. For weeks on out, as I talked about AEW, I have championed the Bunny, the Butcher, and the Blade. I have forgo my allegiance to those two because they are no longer a trio, and I have now put all my support behind a new trio of Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. They are my new team.
Welcome to the ship, Eric. Welcome to the ship.
With that being said, this match had some concerns for me because I enjoyed the match, but I was so disappointed that announcers kept trying to explain to me, quotation marks, that this is the best tag division in the world, and I disagree wholeheartedly. And I know WWE doesn't have a tag division right now, but I know AEW is not the best. And then AEW,
who you comparing them with then?
Marcus, TNA might have a better tag division than them. But with that being said, the convolution of this match, when Penelope Ford gets booted for a minimal thing, very minimal, where they don't follow the rules, the next thing you know, Havoc is using a ring wrench, and
how did you know what was about to run?
And then, like, for me, I'm watching this match, and I'm like, at no point did I ever think that Sabian and Havoc had a chance to win this match. And that's the problem I have when people who win battle royals gets title matches. Manny, since you posted up the sign of FTR, follow the rules, I'm going to let you go and speak on this first.
I just never makes any sense, like the way they ref anything in AEW, and it's starting to really bother me because there should be some type of decorum of like standard of how referees ref, and I feel like I get that more in WWE across all the free programs they put on, whereas when you get to AEW it's like, oh, let's take a time warp back into the 90s and early 2000s where rules didn't matter.
I feel like when I'm watching I'm going to throw to you, Marcus. I feel like when I'm watching AEW, I feel like that it is actually too much emphasis on the referee. And someone always told me that when you're doing a wrestling match, the referee should be the least noticeable person in the ring. Compared to an AEW, they're always noticeable because they're doing some stupid rule. Marcus, do they need to address the reffing problem in AEW, or is it bigger problems that they need to address? And then, comment what you were going to say anyway.
No. The ref problem. Well, Penelope Ford, they should have been disqualification. She literally was caught jumping off the ropes to get ready to do a hurricane on somebody. I feel like that was a disqualification. You said she got thrown for something minor. She literally jumped into the ring and was caught red-handed.
But Marcus, we've seen people do worse than AEW and they still stay out there. Fucking Brandy set a table up for Cody one match.
No, they threw out Jake the Snake for Art Anderson being associated with him.
No, but that's because Mike Tyson was a snitch.
Yeah, but the referee in general in AEW does need to be addressed. But I disagree with you when you say it's not the best tag division. It is by default because I believe there aren't really many good tag teams in the world right now, and they're all in AEW, I believe, right now. It's just they have a collection of people that are actually tag teams. There's something I can't complain about AEW, and it is their tag team division. It's a decent set. No one really gets that much time to do much, but they have a decent set of tag teams. And for you to turn to Orange Cassidy to be like, I like Orange Cassidy, and then for you to turn around to Jimmy Havoc, Eric, I'm slowly and surely thinking that next is Joey Janela is going to be your favorite wrestler.
Well, with that being said, Marcus, I don't think that's a possibility. I mean, the thing about it is that sometimes, people, some people change me. And yes, when Jimmy Havoc...
Look how serious he's got.
I got real serious because right now, you got to get serious when you start backtracking. When you backtrack. And yes, I will point out when AEW started off, I did talk bad about Jimmy Havoc, but at that point, Jimmy Havoc wasn't doing shit. And as simple as that. He just wasn't doing anything for me. And I felt like once he got taken out of that category of not always being a hardcore type wrestler, we actually start taking him a little bit more seriously and then teaming him with his Englishman brethren, Kip Sabian, who really wasn't doing anything either. But I think it works because yes, you might say that AEW has a better tag division, but how many people in the tag division are actual tag teams? Because the tag team champions are just a makeshift tag team. They're not a real team. What, Stephen A? Go ahead.
I'm about to bring some tag teams off to you. You got the EVPs, the Young Bucks. You have the alleged
They can't
private
win
party.
because they're EVPs.
Yeah, they don't count.
The alleged private party.
They're garbage. They're jobbers. They're
Lucha
being
Bros.
The who? They're stuck in Mexico.
No, one of them is. Ray Phoenix is dead. But yes. You got the Butcher and the Blade.
No, they're wearing white pants now. They're wearing white pants, man. No.
They're wearing white pants. They're not being used on TV.
No.
The Butcher brand did nothing to you that you said they're not worth it anymore.
No.
They got For the Rules, the revival.
Fuck them. I'm sorry,
Did you say fuck the revival?
Marcus, I have not been a fan of the revival when they were in WWE. I never got the hype.
Well, you didn't like them when they were in NXT.
I didn't like it when they were in NXT. I just
when they were
like
producing quality matches.
No, they're solid wrestlers, but they just don't appeal to me. And it's nothing. And in AEW, they haven't done anything right now to make me feel. Marcus, I get what you're saying. They have these tag teams, and the only thing different on AEW that they do compared to WWE is that they actually feature tag team matches. In WWE, tag team matches are used to get singles matches over on the thing. However, if WWE took tag team wrestling seriously, I think they have better tag teams. You have the New Day. You have the Usos. And, and I'll just stop. You have Miz and Morrison. I mean, ho. I'm just saying, if WWE took it seriously, they could do it.
Yeah, but they don't take it serious. Therefore, you're a weak division.
And Marcus,
that's like saying, hey, I have a solid AAA baseball team, but no one gives a damn about AAA.
Marcus, let me tell you something right now.
Tell me what
Marcus,
the tag team champions on both shows are doing.
If I had a mute
on all three WWE shows, tell me what all three tag team champions are doing right now.
If I had a mute button, I would mute you right now, Marcus, because guess what?
Speaking the truth?
No, because AEW doesn't take it seriously either, because they keep having people fight for the tag team championship that win fucking battle royals. And if you want me to talk about tag teams, Marcus, let me talk about a real tag team. We got Imperium. We got Imperium in NXT. Imperium what? What you gonna say about that?
What are they doing in NXT?
They're the champions.
They got the titles from 2 makeshift tag teams.
That's because Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne. I said it right. Pete Dunne.
No, you said Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Is it Pete? Is it Dunne or Dunne?
Done.
Oh fuck.
Done.
God damn it.
Imperium is doing nothing. What are they gonna fight? Oni Lorcan and them? They just had a random triple threat match with Oni Lorcan, Breezango, and I can't even remember the other team.
We are not at NXT, so do not disparage today.
You're talking about tag team divisions. AEW's tag team division, at least it makes sense. And don't give me that they give random title shots to people that win Battle Royals. I'm about to die. Because they didn't win a Battle Royal. They beat the Best Friends to get this title shot.
No, they won a Battle Royal. I think it was a Battle Royal for this.
Then they won a Battle Royal, and then the Best Friends have got a title match.
The Best Friends, I think, are now the default #1 contenders. But last week, the Jimmy Havoc and they won the Battle Royal. Marcus, get your facts straight, sir. It was a Battle Royal for the tag because I was upset about the fucking Battle Royal because I thought it was stupid to have a Battle Royal when you have rankings.
No, it wasn't a Battle Royal to face Cody.
Yeah, the Battle Royal was to face Cody.
You might be right.
Jimmy Havoc. No, and the Best Friends beat the Private Party, I think, to get the #1 contender. And then Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian beat somebody else.
I just want to point out, right now we're circumcising mosquitoes and we've gotten sidetracked what we always do when we do the show. I think we just need to move on. We need to move on. Something that is very not consistent is that I don't know what they're doing with Sean Spears. Tully Blanchard.
Did you like the tag match, by the way?
The tag match was fine. I just don't like the rules.
I like the tag match as well.
The rules just drive me crazy. Like, anytime I have a good match in AEW. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to answer the question.
We're done.
The rules in AEW always fucks up their matches. I got my point across. I don't think I care about Tully Blanchard and Sean Spears. Let's talk about what we need to talk about.
Gave him a glove.
Brian Cage comes down to
we're skipping that. He's giving him OJ's other glove.
Because 1 minute he's looking for tag team partners. Next minute he's having the Sean Spears network. God damn it. I don't know what this man is doing. I guess he'll figure it out one day.
They canceled the tag team part. Tully said, fuck all that.
Now,
you guys, I like that every wrestler has to have an old-ass manager next to him.
When you guys, because I'm going to say their name. When you guys was talking about the show, you said some black wrestler got jobbed out, and you're correct. Brian Cage came down and defeated Sean Dean for no absolute reason. Brian Cage could have easily came down to the ring and cut a promo without having this match destroying poor Sean Dean and his hopes. I mean, because technically it was like a less than a minute. The next thing you know, we got into a promo, and I think the catchphrase for Brian Cage is, "Who can stop the path of Cage?" I could care less. And then Taz decides to cut a promo, and he's upset that Mox was smiling and snickering when he was talking about him. Then next thing you know, Mox comes down to the rings, and he's like, "I'm happy to go to war with Cage because he is a different breed of shark, and make sure you keep his name." Marcus, I could care less about this match. Do you care about Mox versus Cage?
First of all, watch the way you talk to me, Jack. Hold on, let's calm down, man. You see, you got really aggressive on that one.
Sorry, man, because it was an unnecessary jobbing. It was.
No, it had to happen.
Why?
Brian Cage hasn't wrestled on TV yet, I don't think.
He did.
Didn't he?
Oh, no.
He wrestled the first week. He showed up.
Okay. Yeah, you're
and
right.
he beat up a black man then too.
Okay, all right. Brian Cage beats up black men. We get it. But let it happen. I don't mind a squash match having to establish Brian Cage some more. He wrestled a guy. He won the match.
What was that?
I'm amped up. I'm fired up because I know what I'm talking about next, and my anger is still there. So keep going, Marcus.
Okay. So he won the match. My only issue is that when Taz started talking to the camera, he completely hid Brian Cage. Like, I feel like there was some cameraman issues and production issues that I don't think happens in any other wrestling show in which you blocked your main wrestler. And Brian Cage, as Taz was sneaking, just looked like a complete idiot in the background. Like, yeah. He just looked like he's going to explode on steroids.
they're trying to do the whole Brock Lesnar thing. Let's Paul Heyman talk for him, but I don't think Brian Cage has that look of Brock Lesnar. It just doesn't work for me. Manny, I'm throwing it to you right now. This whole segment, did you like it? Did you think it helped build up Fyter Fest that takes place in July between these two guys?
I don't feel like it did anything other than like feed the exact situation that's going on in AEW right now, and there are a lot of black wrestlers that are just jobbing when you could easily throw like another person. What's the Marco Stunt? You could have done that.
Yeah,
he's always a jobber.
Joey Janela could have did that.
Hold on. As much as I like seeing Marco Stunt get his ass beat, I think we've seen enough of that. I think everybody has went through Marco Stunt enough, and I'm just saying. Of all the guys that are available, I'm sure they got some white dark elder guys.
But it's not even that. It's that they're protecting far too much of their roster. Like, I could have easily had Daniels go out there. I could have easily had Kazarian go out there and face him. But no, you're putting out these black jobbers, and like, it's feeding into what's going on politically, and it's not a good sign.
No, and then the thing about it, was extremely unnecessary. The match had no purpose whatsoever because he fought last week, so we don't need to see Brian Cage do job matches back and back. He could have came out, he could have stood in the ring, just like what Paul Heyman does with Brock Lesnar, and voice your frustration of Mox not respecting you as a man when you're trying to call him out, and then you have the whole Mox interaction. The match was just, to me, unnecessary. I just didn't need it. I just didn't. Do you have anything else, Manny? Because I know I jumped up in there.
No. I think we've made our point on this.
Because it gets worse. It gets worse.
Again, at this point of AEW, I'm just going blah, blah. I don't care. It's just kind of happening around me. I'm not as angry as you seem to be about this show.
Angry.
Until probably whatever segment you get
because Sean Dean got beat up, but at least his name was said. We go into a junkyard. I don't know where we're at, but we're at a junkyard, and it's Murder Hawk beating up another random black man. I'm assuming it's the same black man that he beats up week in and week out in the field. Why was that black man in the field? Why was he there?
I honestly forgot the beginning of that pit happened.
I thought it was a luchador guy out. For some reason, I have a guy in a mask.
It was a dude with a mask on, but he had dark skin, and I'm sorry, for the track record, I think it was a black man. But the problem was that you're in the junkyard, and he's in the field by himself, and so you're trying to tell me that you were in this field with Jake the Snake, Alex Marvez, the Murder Hawk, and some random dude that you just beat up in this stone quarry. It made no fucking... I'm tired of him beating up people week in and week out. And it's always the same black production head that I just wish he need to get out the way when the Murder Hawk walks out. I'm very upset about this because technically the Murder Hawk and Brian Cage are doing the same storyline where they're two dominant individuals and they have mouthpieces.
No, and that's one of my issues with AEW is that there's no one in charge of.
You are right, Manny. Alex Marvez is the worst in the game.
Yeah, he is. He's the worst. If there was anybody to get their slime, to have their slime dripped all over, it would be Alex Marvez. But there needs to be somebody. I know they want to do creative freedom, but there's way too many people with the same thing going on, in which this is the Murder Hawk and Jake Roberts interaction. Seemed like it was very similar to me to Wardlow and MJF, in which he jumped up and he was trying to scare him off, and they're having their friction because the Murder Hawk and Jake seem to have friction right after. He was like, "You want some of this?" and he's worried. And then you have Taz doing his thing with Brian Cage, which is the same thing that Jake the Snake Roberts is doing, and Tully Branch is trying to motivate. It just seems like everybody's doing the same gimmick.
But what is there any producers backstage like how in WWE they've got the old wrestlers that would work a match? Is there
it's Malenko, Anderson. I think Finley's there. I think Kip James.
Gary Lynn.
I think.
But surely they should all communicate and go, this is what's happening. Wait, this is too similar to this. We can't do that. Like, it's not like they have two shows where you could do two of the same thing on the two different shows. You're doing the exact same thing across the board, and everyone will get tired of it.
Yeah, it just feels like everybody's like big guy. All right, they have a manager. All right, they have a match. They lose to Moxley. There's friction between the big guy and the manager, and it seems like that's where everybody's at right now. Is MJF is basically Wardlow's manager. I don't know. It's just someone should do something different and try something different. If you're gonna be a month, and I'm on top of Brody Lee and him in the Dark Order, but at least he's different as a leader, as a big guy, than he is as these other guys who are just basically Paul Heyman and Lesnar scenario.
But like for me,
that's where we're going.
This whole segment was fundamentally flawed because like Murder Hawk is talking about that he doesn't care about being a spot monkey and everybody dies or something like that nature. But the thing is, you're in an abandoned lot. How did Alex Marvez know that he was in this lot to do this interview?
They called him.
Like, but why? Like, why? Because
he went through the interview.
No, but like the thing about it is
how
that
interviews work.
But the thing is, when you gave me the vignette, you had me believing that the Murder Hawk beat up people in the woods. But now he moved to the industrial stone quarry. Like, he could have did this beat down across the street where the rocks are in my neighborhood. So I was taken aback. It bothered me, and it just.
Where are the police?
The police probably told him to move from the woods. That's why he was in the quarry.
and then another segment happened where it's like you have the private party, and like last week, Mark Quinn left out with a supposed knee injury, and so him and Isaiah Cassidy, they're in the back, they're in their bar area. The only other time we saw this bar area is when Adam Page walked in and he stole the drink. But now,
no, whenever the private party does their interviews, they're in this bar area.
So now,
but the interviews never go anywhere.
So now they're there, and I guess they're licking their wounds, and the next thing you know, Matt Hardy walks in, and Mark Quinn is so happy he starts shucking and jiving because Matt Hardy's there, and maybe Matt Hardy's gonna teach him the way of how to become a tag team wrestler. And then I'm like, so are we gonna use Matt Hardy to make Private Party more relevant? I'm not exactly sure how this is a proper transition from Matt Hardy feuding with the Inner Circle to now going. It didn't work for me.
He's coming from the blind side. For me, he was coming from the blind side. He's that white savior to save their career. That's what I got for this one, and this one enraged me. I was like, give the private parties their own mic time and let them talk about themselves for a change and how they want to get back. Like, I need more promos like that from multiple people in this company. Not even just black people or people of color. Just multiple people just tell me where they're coming from other than some random manager. Have the private party get on the right track. I don't need Matt Hardy to bring his comedy antics to the private party. It's a different match. Kip Sabian and then forget that. I don't know.
Marcus,
it wasn't the private party.
Let me tell you something, and I'll tell you this, brother, and I mean this in all the respect. The problem with the private party is that the private party got a win against the Young Bucks that they weren't ready for. They are not ready for the spotlight yet. They are not that team that you could it's not, they're not ready yet. It's like
they're not polished.
They need a lot more seasoning.
No, but what I said to Eric, I think off camera, was what separates the private party other than them being black to what the rest of the tag division are doing? Because they all do flips. The only difference in the tag division is really the Butcher and the Blade and then the Revival, who are more of a ground-based team. Other than that, they all do flips. The only difference between them is their race. And I feel like they need something to establish themselves, because normally you do have a big guy and then a little guy to have that power move offense. But them two, they're not very good at delivering their promos, which I think having them do them more often will make them get better. But in the ring, I don't see anything that separates them from anyone else in the tag division, which is why there needs to be more diversity in terms of like ring match style in their division, because it's all the same. That's why I would agree with Eric that their tag division isn't the best tag division in the world.
Thank you, Manny, for having a voice of reason. I knew that's why you are the Lord, and stuff like that. Shout out to Dub Gabato in the chat. Thank you for joining us also. I just think that like you want to support the Private Party, but they're just not ready. It's as much, I hate to say it, they're not the team that I can believe in at this moment. And I don't think associating them with Matt Hardy is going to really help, because Matt Hardy is already somewhat comical in this situation. So it's like it's a very, I don't know.
No, this is what it is. When I see the Private Party, I think of all the great black tag teams of the past. Whether it's Crime Time. Yeah.
I'm sorry. They are not on the same level as Crime Time.
Manny, let's save our judgment, because I think we're in agreement. Let's let Marcus make the statement. Go ahead, Marcus. Make your point.
Let me finish this point. I'm saying I'm channeling all the great black tag teams of the past, such as Crime Time, the Prime Time Players, and currently the tag team champions, the Street Profit. And when I look at the Private Party, I feel like they're a low-rent version or the Dollar Tree version of all those tag teams combined. That's where I was going with that. And they're not as good in the ring. That's where I was going. Gotta give me a chance to finish. I'm not saying they were good.
Manny, would you like to have a rebuttal to Marcus' comments?
They are no, because he covered himself much like Drew Brees backtracked himself earlier in the week.
On my statement,
but
you should not have apologized.
But I definitely don't think they're on the level of anyone you just mentioned. But like they are. They need more refining, and I think maybe they stay on AEW Dark for a bit.
Yeah,
to refine their craft.
Like I said, I think that the thing about it was that when they got that victory over the Young Bucks, it's unfortunately it's a victory that puts you to another level. They weren't ready for that level. They are a team that could use some seasoning, like in an NXT, like. As Manny says, AEW Dark could be a better place where they can work on their craft, because like their moves are not crisp. Like when they do the silly string is like such a forced move. It's very reminiscent to Jon Moxley's bounce off the rope clothesline that drove me crazy.
Oh no, Eric! I think the silly string's worse, because it looks like there's a tendency that could fail.
Yeah, it does.
Slow motion. The silly string is in slow motion. My thing is, with the Private Party and their win versus the Young Bucks, they never got any opportunity to do anything after that. They were doing that tag team tournament. They were having matches and whatnot, but they never got mic time, which would give them more experience, and probably you have more confidence in front of the crowd. And then what was that? I don't know. I heard some feedback.
You did?
I'm hearing myself.
Feedback. I'm hearing feedback.
Do you hear it now?
I'm hearing myself. Oh no, now.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. Maybe it's me.
Because I don't hear any feedback, but for the people,
turn your radio up.
The people in the chat room, do you guys hear any feedback?
I think it's gone.
Okay.
I don't hear anything anymore. But fuck them. I don't know. I can't remember my point. I have nothing. They didn't get any opportunity to do mic work or get more in-ring time, and I just feel like that's what's missing. They need more experience. They need different type of opponents, because, like you guys said, everybody is doing, I can flip over the top rope and I can have this amazing athleticism, but they need somebody to do some slow, methodical, I'm going to work a technical style. Somebody work the damn leg, damn it.
But isn't that
something like that?
Isn't that what FTR is brought in for? Isn't that why they're there?
So. But maybe when they do their first match next week, see them flipping over the top rope.
But when you see it, the Butcher and the Blade also have that style, which is why I reckon that's going to be a really good match next week. But I think it's what indie wrestling is right now, that's formed this kind of situation where everyone does flips and stuff, and then like offense doesn't really look like an offense.
Yeah, and I enjoy a good spot monkey match, flippity do spot fest. but I don't want it in every match. I want it, sparring there. It's like getting an action movie, and all they doing is throwing at you is action, and they don't give you any of that backstory drama. Imagine Die Hard, in which you get no John McClane type talking on the radio to Carl Winslow and stuff, and it's just him just shooting at people, which is like the last Die Hard movie. It would be trash. It would just be like, you don't want that. You want some substance to it, and that's where I feel their tag division. And I am, like you said, looking forward to the Butcher the Blade against FTR, because you feel like you're going to get an old school tag match, but there's also part of me that thinks that the rules are going to be altered somehow, and there's going to be a lot of weird spots that doesn't make sense.
So, Marcus, you brought up FTR. Did you like their package when they were talking about all the teams that they can face in AEW, but then they decided that they want to omit the Young Bucks from that list?
There's two things I don't like about it. One, I hated their pants. I feel like these guys aren't wearing Rip Away pants, but I guess if they do, they do. I feel like they should just wear some solid jeans. And two, for them not to know what their name stands for, I think it's an absolute terrible disgrace. It'd be like us going like, yeah, we're going to do a show. Yeah, we're going by, let's say, you know how we did the DSPN thing earlier. Let's say we didn't know what the DSPN stood for. I didn't know what the PN stood for, but at least I knew the DS started. They just go, FTR can be anything you mean. It's a lifestyle. I feel like
the moment they said follow the rules, I was like, you're in the wrong company, son.
No one's follow anything.
Weston B. Moore said, that's like when Shelton Benjamin fought HBK. Great moment match, but what did he do after that of significance?
Yep.
I love the private party, and that's just a great point. Speaking of stuff, like we had the I guess you can call it the useless match between Jericho and Colt Cabana. The only thing I can remember from this match is Sammy Guevara butchering Judas for no good apparent reason at this match, and then I also have the obsession of AEW using the word shit all the time, like, because Jericho and his whole thing's like, I'm tired of your shit, Tyson, and I was just like, I just don't care. It's like, ooh, you can say shit, but then they beat out ass.
No, Eric, but the emphasis, the way they say shit, it's like a massive emphasis, like it was almost like shit, and then like a zoom in, shit.
Yeah, it's like, I'm saying shit. And
it's like, it's the equivalent of that Kevin Hart joke where his mom let him cuss at the teacher.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get away. He was like, my mama told me to shut your motherfucking mouth. But that's the way they say shit. It's like they've never cussed before. And it's like, ooh, we're edgy. We're saying shit. And I've seen the times when WWE has used shit. They've used it, but it's very sparingly. It's not every week that someone has to go, let me look at the camera. Shit. I mean, it's not like they're saying fuck. If you said fuck and you emphasize on that, it's like, ooh. But shit is kind of a common word in which I've seen a 4-year-old drop their ice cream and go shit, and their parents hit them. Of course, that's they're like, what are you saying? But it's a word that you just kind of go like, shit.
And like for me, when I go into it, and then like, you know, it's like whatever. We're gonna go into the match where you had Nyla Rose versus Big Swole. Now the match.
Can I pause for a second?
Go ahead for station identification.
The Jericho Colt Cabana match, I thought it was a solid match. It was nothing special, solid match.
No, I mean, the whole premise behind this match is that Jericho was mad that because Colt Cabana prevented him from getting to Mike Tyson. And I'm like, okay, in your world, that's perfectly fine. It's a match that needed to happen. It was like one of the different matches on the show. The match that I found quite interesting, and I'm not talking about the match in general, it was Nyla Rose versus Big Swole. So Big Swole loses to Nyla Rose. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I've ever had this happen, but we're going to get an interview with the loser of the match. And this sets up an angle between her and Britt Baker, who was injured. So I'm like, it's a good segment, but you can't have anything come of it. Marcus, you're shaking your head in disagreement as your glasses fog up.
Let me unfog these glasses, cause these glasses only fog up when I do this goddamn show. Maybe I work on the way. Like they never fog up any other time. Yeah, they get heated. You can feel the smoke. You can feel it. But I hated this segment. I kind of enjoyed the match. The problem I had with this segment was that the segment was not designed for any other purpose other than for Dr. Britt Baker to use the fucking cart. It's only for Britt Baker. It was all this is about. This wasn't about Big Swole. This wasn't about Nyla Rose. This is all about we're going to have a match to kill some time, but we want to see Britt Baker use the cart and use the Rolls Royce. It was a plot. To me, it just felt like that's all they cared about. I don't believe we're going to get a program with Britt Baker and Big Swole, and I believe we're not going to see Big Swole for another 2 months after this because they're only using her to be a loud personality. They had no reason. Like, the whole interview was contrived so she could ram it to the gate, a la what they did in the riots, and they showed the video. So I was like, this pisses me off. You don't remember that?
Marcus,
the police ran over protesters?
Yes, I do, Marcus. Man,
yeah, and I feel like they were in that route, and I was really upset, and I was like, Big Swole seemed like she has a lot of personality and probably could cut a promo, but AEW will not let a person of color say what's on their goddamn mind without a white person interrupting them. I love a private party and this segment right here with Dr. Britt Baker. And where the hell is Scorpio Sky? God damn it!
Manny, Marcus has lost his mind right now, so do you have anything to add?
It was a really good match. Like AEW should be showcasing Big Swole. Like, she shouldn't be like off TV. Like, she isn't, like, from what I saw in that match, incredible talent.
Yeah, and then like as Marcus always said about my backtracking, let me also point out my backtracking about Nyla Rose too. I hopped on that bandwagon. It's gotten a lot better in the ring. You know, she is actually carrying matches, and the match with her and Big Swole was solid. I just thought that it was weird interviewing the loser. Like,
you say that, but I really enjoyed the segment. Like, I know Marcus didn't like it, but like the point of when Britt Baker needs to fire who's her carer at the moment. I can't remember her
name.
But like, if I'm in a wheelchair and you shove me against that thing and there's a potential of me falling out of that wheelchair when it hits the barricade, that's how you know Cody when he pimped out these barricades, they're shit. They don't stop anything. But like, I was thinking, oh shit, she's gonna fall out of it. She's gonna fly out of the cart, out of the wheelchair. But then it's just setting up. I know it's keeping Britt relevant. I don't know how long she's out for, but it looks like it's going to be 3 to 6 months.
I would think so if it's a torn ACL.
8 weeks or something like that?
It really depends on if they're reporting a real injury or not. But unfortunately,
she said she'll be back in All Out. The pay-per-view All Out, whenever that is.
Isn't that like September?
That's like September.
Yeah.
Where Adam Cole will still be employed by WWE because apparently he signed an extension, so he's not a free agent, according to some reports. So let's talk about the moment of truth, the match that everyone has been waiting for, the match that Jungle Boy won a battle royal to get this opportunity to face Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. Now, everyone knows Cody won this match. Marcus, the thing that upset me the most about this match is that Cody says that he's going to defend his title week in and week out. No one explained to me how next week he's fighting Mark Quinn for the TNT Championship. What did Mark Quinn do to earn this shot? Except for walk out the ring with his knee. I don't get it.
It's an open invitation / top shot. He was the first person to show up and sign his name on that paper. I don't know how you do open invitations in any promotion, but everybody that's done it, we just know that random people come out. So now, I don't have a problem with him randomly fighting Mark Quinn, but I know it's going to be a shit match. It's going to be the fastest person he beats.
Now, Marcus, let me tell you something right now, Marcus. You have dubbed Cody Rhodes the 3-star general. Now, Marcus, simply because I have been a Cody Rhodes fan for a long, long time, I'm going to do something that I never thought I'm going to do. I'm going to strip him of some rank, Marcus. He is the 2-star general, in my opinion, right now, because this was the worst smoke and mirror, non-logical match I have ever watched in the history of professional wrestling.
Did you want to use the pun for smoke and mirrors? Because that used to be in this theme song.
No, that was all natural, Marcus.
I did not. Smoke and mirrors. You remember he came out dashy?
This, Marcus, my whole logic, if you need to blade for a match, that probably tells you the match is not booked good enough to be entertaining. Am I right?
You're 100%. I hate agreeing with you as much as I have, but you're 100% right. No, you're 200% right. Cody Rhodes has no confidence in his wrestling ability to think that he can just get off on the in-ring match alone. And he had to do the blade. He had to climb up to the top rope, jump through a table. And there was so many shenanigans and nonsense in this match. It made no sense to me. It agitated me to death. Oh, after the show, I'm gonna just out and have a pyro celebration for no reason, and have all my friends come out and embrace me as if I just won the WrestleMania main event and beat Brock Lesnar. Marcus, everything about this was the biggest ego stroke I've ever seen in my life, and I don't even think Jeff Jarrett in the TNA days did this. To me, this was worse crime than TNA. What I was looking for this match was a regular technical match in which Cody displayed a good match with Jungle Boy. And to me, he was outclassed by MJF, who I don't think is the best wrestler in the world at all. But MJF and Jungle Boy had a far superior match than Cody Rhodes. Like, this was outrageous to me. The whole thing was just like, people get mad at Triple H or Jeff Jarrett or Gato in Japan. I don't care. It was this most over the top, only self-absorbed moment I've ever seen in wrestling.
Well, see, Marcus, the problem I had with this match is that it's not like we hadn't seen Cody Rhodes versus Jungle Boy before. When AEW first started, Marcus, there was a match between Cody Rhodes and Jungle Boy, and I remember we praised it on the show because we said Cody did such a great job of elevating Jungle Boy in this match, and it had none of the...
No,
I
thought that was Darby Allin.
No, it was also Jungle Boy. He fought Jungle Boy too, and it was the same thing.
I thought Jericho fought Jungle Boy. You might be right.
I could be wrong. Who knows? But at the same time, Manny, I'm going to you. Wasn't it the most unnecessary table spot possibly in wrestling history when they just fell into the table?
Okay, I need to admit something. I wasn't really 100% paying attention to this, so I don't actually recall. I didn't actually recall how that table came set up. Who set that up?
Cody set it up before the first commercial break.
Okay.
He's like fighting Jungle Boy. The next thing you know, he says, well, I'm going to decide to put him through a table. And decides to move the table. We come back for the commercial break, and they have not used that table or nothing has happened.
But the whole thing was pointless. The table spot where they basically just fell through the tables. No one did a move to make someone go through a table. They just fell.
Cody fell through that table. Cody went back first. I thought Jungle Boy put him through the table.
And then he didn't sell it. He just popped right back up. Like he was
Jungle Boy didn't.
And then the blading, that was ridiculous because you knew it was happening. Like so he's leaning against the thing and he's like that, and then but then you just Jungle Boy to argue with MJF whilst he does it, and then it's like, you ran into that thing, technically, so why are you bleeding? I just
knocked out of anything.
And then the announcement of Mark Quinn, I read that it was supposed to be Phoenix, but apparently he's not ready to go because he's injured. So apparently there was backtracking on the amount of audio stripped out from the broadcast.
Oh, wow.
So I think they just threw Mark Quinn in as a last minute because Ray Phoenix couldn't go that week because he's still actually injured.
With that being said, I'm going to conclude the AEW with my new segment of AEW because Marcus has said one thing about me. I'm the most pettiest man when it comes to watching AEW. And so, Marcus, I'm going to give you my AEW petty moment of the week. And Marcus, I'm going to...
Who's it sponsored by?
We don't have a graphic for that?
I don't have a graphic. I should make one. Because I just thought of this right now, Mark. My petty moment of the week, I'm going to revisit the match between Nyla Rose and Big Swole. And Marcus, the thing that made me so upset while watching this match, and yes, the action in the ring was fine, is when they went to the audience and I saw that AEW's women's champion, Sheeta, sitting in the audience as a pedestrian. Not the prestigious champion that she was in the peanut gallery with all the other jobbers dressed as a jobber. And I'm like, God damn it, this is your motherfucking women's champion. She does not need to be associated with these rapscallions and scumbags in the audience. And that just drove me crazy. And
you mean the Guns aren't incredible wrestlers?
Huh? Marcus, she wasn't even... Marcus, let me tell you this. She wasn't even sitting next to the Guns, Marcus. And she was next to the black people. She was in the black people section of the show, and you know how they treat them. And I just said, Marcus, why is my champion?
Mean this was the Titanic. She would have been underground in the cage when they would open the door with all the people who were serving.
But that's what it was like on NXT. There was BAME Corner, where it was just every black, Asian, minority, ethnic on that side of the thing. And when you saw Candice LeRae walk out, I was just like, why are they so angry at her?
The Black Lives Matter movement did not like her when she made. They did not like her dinner.
Yeah, that was my thing. It was crimes against food.
Yes.
I think it as is they have picked a side. They are on Keith Lee and Mia Lim, the black delegation side of this feud. Like, they gotta cheer for Keith Lee and Mia Yim because you're black and you're going against the white people from California.
So might as well, since that's we're gonna.
That was your petty moment of the week.
That was my petty moment of the week. I mean, it's petty.
If anyone would like to sponsor Eric's petty moment of the week, please let us know.
and honestly, I'm going to try not to have my petty moment of the week always be in AEW. And hopefully I'm going to try to remember the petty moment of the week. I'm going to have to ask Marcus and Manny. Sorry, Manny, I called you Ryan. I'm going to have you guys remind me of this. As we out into our next segment, we're moving on to NXT. And NXT was pretty much the go-home show for the In Your House pay-per-view that will be taking place tomorrow. So this segment of our show will serve two purposes. A purpose of to talk about NXT, but also talk about the hype that they did for the show. So the first thing that they did was that NXT created what they like to call the Prime Targets. And they were packages to highlight their championship matches. So the first Prime Target we will talk about, and I'm laughing as I'm thinking about it right now, is that they did the Prime Target of Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. And so
I don't even have a hat for this.
Yeah, so Marcus, I'm gonna let you guys know. I'm gonna let Manny talk about the Adam Cole portion, and Marcus, you're gonna talk about the Velveteen Dream portion, just because. For that reason. So Adam Cole portion is that a limo pulls up to pick up him, and inside it's young Undertaker, Kyle O'Reilly, and they are painting the town red to celebrate Adam Cole's reign as champion. Manny, would you love to be picked up by your crew of boys in a limo? One look like baby Undertaker?
Of course. I love to be thinking that I could live a life like Evolution Jr. If one of you two came outside my house and was like, Manny, put on a suit. I'm like, why? And then he's like, look out your window. I'm like, there's a limo here. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
And do you know the greatest thing about that whole limo segment, if this took place, was that you know how Kyle O'Reilly was a big surprise? You know, would be the first person hopping out that limo would be Ryan. Talking about, hey, everybody, I'm in this limo, because he has to be there for the glitz and the glamour. Marcus, you had the Velveteen portion. Velveteen was at his house with his wenches, and then he had to ask for the mirror, Marcus. And
well, you're jumping ahead of all the Velveteen portion.
No. I think we need
on rollerblades.
Marcus, the rollerblade is not important.
Yeah, I think there's one thing we all need to talk about.
Yeah, I know what we need to talk about. But the fact is, I felt like he was working. It felt like he was working out for the match, and they were building up, but he's on rollerblades and shit. And I'm like, whoever does this, who rides rollerblades? Well, anyway, with that being said, he goes into his office with his room of hoes, and he tells them hoes be gone.
Bring me my mirror.
On the wall. He goes to the mirror on the wall, and lo and behold, very strong-jawed man and white face. I'm gonna call him Prince because I don't know if that's what they were going. I'm assuming that's what they were going for. Prince shows up in his mirror and tells Velveteen, "You are the greatest of them all," or whatever he said. And there were few things that went through my mind. One, Velveteen Dream sees himself in the mirror as a white man. Two, Velveteen Dream sees himself as Prince with a very strong jawline. That's Prince. Prince weighs about 98 pounds, soaking wet. He is the smallest dude, skinny. There's not an ounce of muscle on him. This dude had the strongest jaw and looked like he weighed 310 pounds. Like, if Brian Cage decided to do a Prince impersonation, that would be him in that mirror.
For me, Marcus, I have to defend WWE somewhat in this segment. I understood that probably someone's like, it'd be good if he sees Prince, because everyone always compare Velveteen Dream to Prince. However, Marcus, there is a quarantine and there are protests going on. I'm pretty sure it's very hard to find a Prince impersonator of quality on such short notice.
Call Dave Chappelle immediately.
For
That
me,
was really probably their first call.
For me,
want to play some basketball?
the jawline of the Prince impersonator was so strong. He could have been a strong candidate to play Batman in an upcoming Batman movie. That's how strong that jaw was.
I thought he looked more like Jafar from the animated Aladdin movie than he did.
Wes asked, isn't his move called the Rainmaker or Purple Rain? What is his move called?
Rainmaker.
Purple Rainmaker.
Purple Rainmaker.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, we know. But
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Can I also say I was really upset that the impersonating Prince was wearing yellow because on his couch, Velveteen was wearing purple. So, like, I would hope that his reflection was still matching the same color that Velveteen was doing. However, it just made me laugh. It was ridiculous.
They probably did that whole thing, got an actor via Skype too. Do you think this was the Vegas Prince? Was this not him, huh?
I don't think so. I just thought that the Prince thing overshadowed what the beginning of Velveteen's promo accomplished when he was rollerblading through all the things that the Undisputed Era put him through, which I thought was a very good build-up for the match. I thought this was a good prime target, but it made me laugh at a lot of things that was going on.
That's the problem I felt like with this prime time. It was supposed to get me hyped for a match, but it just felt like a comedy spot. Because even Adam Cole and they went to they went to that restaurant. It didn't look like they painted the town red.
No.
It didn't look like they actually did anything. It looked like they were done by 3 p.m. It was like, well, it's time to go home and get some rest now. The wife won't let me go out tonight. Like, it looked like they went for a brunch. Like, you seen them not popping bottles. They were at that restaurant just chilling. Like, Kyle O'Reilly looked like he's the only one that actually dressed up for the thing. It didn't seem like this was the moment, and I feel like this was a distraction.
That's why I said it's Evolution Light, because they clearly rented the limo.
Man, you called them Junior. They were Junior. Evolution Junior.
Evolution Junior, and they clearly rented the limo, and they're not going to pay for the whole day, the whole night. They're going to pay for like the afternoon. They're going to pay for the afternoon.
We're in quarantine era, and I don't know what phase they are in Florida, but maybe they went to the only spot that was open to paint the town red that night.
So my question, if they're Evolution Junior, my question is for you. I'm assuming Bobby Fish is Batista, correct?
I'll call him Flair.
Bobby Fish, really?
Yeah, Bobby Fish is Flair because he's old.
He's old. He's old.
But he's the biggest of the bunch, because I would give Kyle O'Reilly being Randy Orton because he might be the youngest. Adam Cole would probably be
Roddy's Batista.
Really?
He's the muscle. He's the paceman. He's the guy you got to go through.
Wes, I'm confident they got their limo deposit back because they didn't do anything crazy with that limo. That's all I got to say with that.
You can do it. With rioting and protesting, we're going to have wit.
So, like, the greatest thing about the Prime Target packages, though, was like for the men's title match, it was a little bit more comical, a little bit nonsensical. But when you get to the women's, this was like straight serious. Like, they were training in dark rooms and stuff like that. I was like, Io got her subtitles. She's training in the dungeon. Rhea is making her protein shakes, and Charlotte
they look like diarrhea.
Yeah.
Put on.
Yeah. And Charlotte just doesn't care because she feels she's the greatest. I really thought the Prime Target things were really quality, and I think they should keep doing them for their big matches because it gave it a big match feel, and they weren't even really on the show.
Mark, well, this is what. Sorry, Eric. This is kind of like what they did with the NXT UK takeover, where it was more of an hour documentary of like what's going down, but they were shot like this, where it was all like gritty type interviews, except like the men's one was like, "Hey guys, let's have fun." Yeah. But it's like everything else was like gritty interviews where you see some training and everything and what the match means to the person, which is, I think I definitely I would hope that they carry this on like into future takeovers.
Yeah, I think it's a great way because like I don't need to have the main events on the actual NXT show. I mean, because I thought it gave more room for them to express the card a lot more on the show. which they did.
That's where I disagree with you. I enjoyed the prime targets. I thought the women's one. I want to see that E.L. Shirai anime movie. I don't know what she was doing under that water, but it looked like straight up anime. E.L. Shirai had the dopest package of anybody in this, just underwater, and then the subtitles of her saying stuff. I thought that was really dope. But I do want my main event wrestlers to give me that go home promo. I do like that feeling of like, oh, I have to tune in Sunday. I know I already have the network and I'm going to tune in anyway. And I'm sure they got anybody that's watching NXT is going to tune into In Your House anyway. But I still feel like on either wrestling show, I do prefer that go home promo. Like, oh man, we got tuned into this Sunday to watch me do such and such to Velveteen. Like, I feel like that's missing in the Adam Cole Velveteen. But I think, and with that being said, I think the women are going to main event this takeover.
You know, Marcus,
I feel like that's the bigger match.
I respect what you're saying, and I agree, but I thought that the remaining portion of NXT was enough to carry me into In Your House because they were building up other matches. Because, like, we had the triple threat tag match that had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch and the Undisputed Era. And the greatest thing about this match going into it is, like, there's a mystery tag team, and we'll get there. But, like, you know, last week, Lorcan and Burch had that package. So you're like, well, I guess they going to job out to Imperium in this situation. So, of course, they're going to win. But the next thing you know, Breezango comes back. And I'm like, Breezango? And I'm like, shit, I don't even know how to feel about this. And then for me, unfortunately, the one thing that I really do dislike in professional wrestling is that when we do a triple threat tag team match, I hate that style unless it's tornado style because I think it works so much better when it's a fatal four-way, but they may not have multiple teams. Then you also throw into the Dexter Lumis fascination with the Undisputed Era when he had his artwork, and then they're there. And then afterwards, after Breezango wins, Imperium walks out, but then the team that Manny asked about last week, Indusure, showed up. So it really...
That was me.
That was you? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. But Marcus, so right there, they put like maybe 5 tag teams out in the open right then and there. And how did you feel about this match, Marcus?
I thought it was a really good match. Probably for the most part, I enjoyed all the NXT matches. I thought they all worked really well. Like, this is probably my favorite match of the night or the main event, somewhere in between. But this was entertaining. I really enjoyed the Breezango entrance of the astronauts because they've done the cop and they did everything. So this was a unique one because I had no idea who the fuck was going out.
I honestly thought it was Sanity reuniting because that whole thing I was like, oh, what?
Yeah. I was completely lost, but then they decided to be astronaut strippers, which is a real thing in space, apparently.
Okay. Now I have to ask you this question.
I knew he was going to ask this question. I already know what he's asking.
So there was a moment. So like you're very big on Everrise. I know you're their number one fan. And
I knew this was coming.
You love that entrance. There was a moment where Breeze slid through. He was posing directly in front of Fandango's ass, and then he slid through his legs. That is far worse than what.
Because he also pointed to his ass too at the point, and then there was a point where he was pointing to his crotch too when Fandango was thrusting when he was laying in front of him on the mat, Marcus. Like, I agree with Manny.
Hold on, again. There was 10 seconds I thought this was Everrise coming out. I thought, because they had that video back and how they're going to do better. And I was like, it makes sense for them to be astronauts known as Everrise. So, with that being said, no, it's not about what happened. It's about the explicitity of how it happened. It was about the lead up. Everrise was so unexpected that it was just like, oh, that takes me aback. Breezango, I expect him to do something like this. If Shawn Michaels and Mario Jannetty would do some shit like this, I see it coming. But if you have the Heart Foundation sliding under somebody's orbit, that's shocking information for me that I didn't see coming. And that's the problem with the Everrise entrance.
No, because we don't know much about Everrise.
We don't.
The fact that they did that entrance shouldn't bother you that much. Because it's not like we're just like, we don't know much about it. We don't know their wrestling style. It's not like Kane and the Undertaker just coming up and doing that. It's just so you what is your problem with Everrise?
I can't get that up my head of Kane and Undertaker doing that. Who you got sliding under? Undertaker or Kane?
Kane, obviously.
Kane, right?
Kane.
Really going under. That's stuck in my head now. Disgusting.
Oh, by the way, if you like things like this, is definitely what's going to happen on the show with me and Marcus.
So with that being said, I think having Breezango going against Imperium is probably the right choice because Imperium needs some wins, and why not beat up Breezango? Everybody beats them up, and I'm okay with that. I did like the other tag teams coming out, like saying, "Hey, it ain't gonna be a cakewalk for everybody else. We want these belts too." So I thought, like, of all the companies, I thought NXT, their tag division is actually fairly solid. I don't care about Lurkin and Birch, but they are solid competitors. And as soon as GYV gets back there, everything is gravy, baby.
Yeah, I think NXT has potential to have a good tag division, but they need their tag teams to come over from the pandemic. So like they need to get all their wrestlers back, but they're all stuck somewhere.
So AEW wasn't the only company that was extremely convoluted this week. There was a match that took place on NXT that there was so much convolution involved in this match. It's very hard. It's the mixed tag match that involved Keith Lee, Mia Yim, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae. This match actually started off as Yim and LeRae fighting each other. That turned to a no contact because every woman in the locker room decided to come out. It was Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Raquel Martinez, Johnny Gargano. We had a spot where Keith Lee is gorilla pressing Johnny Gargano, and then Candice LeRae hops on his back and he walks, and goddammit, that is a sight to see. Then the match happens. Gargano and them wins, right? I don't remember. I think they won, or they even lost.
Yeah, because Gargano had his keys and then keyed his face.
Yeah, like he poked Keith Lee in the eye. Then he came back and he punched him, like he hit his hand in the staircase. And I thought that this was going to lead to a match of Gargano and Lee being booked for the North American title In Your House, but I don't think it did. The only thing that we got out of this convolution was a 6-woman tag match at In Your House.
No, they did book the North American title.
So it is happening.
Yeah.
Because okay.
Well, they booked that.
Okay.
Everything's booked.
Okay.
The 6-woman tag match is a throwaway match.
Unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary.
I feel like that was a match they threw on the card. That was like, we're booked. Like we don't need this extra baggage on the card.
This match will definitely be the match that derails get your momentum back down, and then for you to go back up to that rise.
I disagree with you on this one, Manny. I think this is the opening match. I think this is a match that can set a good pace, and because like this is a match to me that would lead into Ciampa versus Cross. Like
no, I feel like the opening match would be the match that they did not cover at all on this show, except for in a footnote, is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor.
Oh, that is on that show, isn't it? I forgot about that.
I would start with that one. I feel like you would get a solid match out of them, but it's not much going on. I got Balor going over, and I feel like that's a better startup match. The women's 6-man tag, I feel like will be the nice buffer between whatever happens with Ciampa and Cross, and somewhere, or the women's main event and Adam Cole and Dream, somewhere in there. Man, after Keith Lee and Gargano. It's a really good card.
I was really sad that the resident thick boy got to meet Karrion Kross, and that was sad for me. I was,
I mean, the resident thick boy.
See, I enjoy the resident thick boy more than I do Otis.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you this question, man, and I'm gonna ask Marcus this question. Like, I feel like I can make money with Bronson Reed. Okay, I would actually forego the push of my boy Cameron Grimes to push Bronson Reed because I think he's unique enough to make money.
Do you know what? It's the stomp on the stairs that really gets me. It's not really unnecessary, but he does it.
Yes. You got.
I 100% agree with you with that, Eric.
Marcus, I could have said anybody. I could have said Phantasma over Cameron Grimes, and you would have picked that person, Marcus. I know what you.
Phantasma.
So
who? Phantasma. As soon as he gets to the main roster, Eric, you're gonna be right. He's just gonna be Phantasma. He's not gonna be El Hilo.
So
El Hilo.
Is everybody taking Cross against Ciampa?
Yeah, I'm taking Cross. Yeah. They wouldn't have him lose so early.
This is a Murder Hawk situation.
Do you think we even get a finish? Manny is taking a photo. So let's just talk about the main event in NXT.
It's always a finish.
Let's talk about the main event in NXT. It was for the Cruiserweight Championship, the interim. The match of Drake Maverick going against El Hijo de Fantasma. And god damn it, this was a great match. And it really made me enjoy. It was so much emotion involved in this match. And the fact that Fantasma won, and I'm so upset that he did not celebrate with the goons because I know he is controlling those masked luchadors. I know it. However, you could not have his celebration with them happen because of what took place after the match where Drake Maverick, although he lost the championship, he got a contract from Daddy Triple H. Marcus, this match, was it a good way for you to end NXT?
It was. I was happy. I was like, oh, that's good. He lost. And I was like, man, he really gonna show up on that Impact show. And I was like, oh, he's gone. But then when Triple H came out, it was good. It was a really solid match. I was just disappointed that the Goons and Phantasmo, or is it Phantasma or Phantasmo?
I don't know.
Phantasma. I think it's Phantasma.
Does it really matter?
Phantasma, right? It does.
Marcus, I call him El Hijo de. That's what I call him.
Well, you'd be wrong, sir.
Yeah.
I probably am.
Yeah, so I wanted to see him and those guys aligned, or Drake Maverick and those guys, the Luchador Mask, aligned, and as a rebellious squad. But I didn't get it. I think we got that happy ending that we all wanted, and good for Drake Maverick for saving his career by going viral by crying in front of everybody. Because that's the difference between everybody else that got released. Because Leo Rush came out and was like, this is bullshit. And I'm paraphrasing, that they using our misfortunes to being fired out there in the wild as their television storylines. I hate them. Fuck them. That's paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines. And I disagree with him. If he did something to save his job, he would have kept a job. And he didn't hate Mark Henry.
Manny, the main event for yourself. Did you like the main event?
Oh, I love the main event. The main event. I
love those mints.
the moment he did that sit-down powerbomb on the outside, that changed the whole match for me, because that's where you heard Maverick screaming, and I was like, give this man a job. and then when it happened, a tear. I was feeling a bit emotional at the time. A tear came when Triple H handed him that contract, and I was like, yes, all is good in the world. And then you realize, and then the backlash happened of like, you're hearing that Leo Rush is unhappy about this. But then I also read that WWE were offering lower contracts to all the people that they released like a month ago, and I think it's just a gesture. I don't necessarily see that many people taking it up, but they didn't have to.
No, but, I mean, I like to think about it, and when it comes to finances and things of this nature, it's like they had to meet a quota and have their financials right for their quarterly earnings. And the way that you get rid of that, you have to trim some of the fat. They trimmed some of the fat. They let some people go, but now that there's a new financial period, they can try to rehire some of these people back. For some of these people, it was their dream to work for WWE. And I personally feel that Drake Maverick might have been one of the most unutilized pieces of talent that WWE had, because whatever role that they put Drake Maverick in, I felt that he excelled. When he was the GM of 205 and Live during the Enzo period, I thought he was a standout person right then and there. He shows that he can give off a great match when it comes to it. He was a solid manager for the Authors of Pain. Why did they stop that?
He peed in his pants. He peed in his pants.
Well, he couldn't consummate his marriage when he was 24/7 champion.
Yeah, I mean, that was the low point. The AOP, I felt like, was his low point.
But the thing was that every time that
that's your bottom. You're a junkie and you're peeing on yourself on national TV. That is your bottom.
But he still invoked some type of reaction for me. And that's all I asked for my performance. Leo Rush, I mean, he's talented in the ring, but at the outside of it, I still don't care. And
I think he's still got some growing up to do, that man.
His attitude seems like it's his biggest detriment to anything, because he thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. As Manny said earlier in the show, I think Rusev is the only person I would like to have sign back, and you never know if that's going to happen. I'm confident
you know
that
what, Big Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson?
I think I would want them back only, but let's be real, they're more comedy recently than anything.
I'll bring them back, put them on NXT to spike up their tag division.
I will point out that I'm confident that Gallows and Anderson are not coming back because Anderson is happy to cuss so much more on his Instagram feed that I really believe the whole thing that a lot of these people might be going to TNA. And if they do jump ship and go to TNA, is that a big detriment to AEW?
Who you throwing it to?
Marcus, I'll go to you because you look like you have something thought-provoking to say.
No, I had nothing. No.
That's rare.
I was hoping that the whole TNA tease or Impact Wrestling, TNA is dead. I'm officially saying TNA is dead.
When their daddy called them TNA, they will always be TNA to me, goddammit.
They are
titties and ass,
Impact
man.
Wrestling.
Titties and ass.
Impact Wrestling, who, as someone pointed out, and I agree with them, the most diverse wrestling company in the history of wrestling. They've had black champions. They've had everybody do all over the thing. They're the first people to push like women's wrestling with Gail Kim and also Kong. They did it all. They're the most diverse. They're always ahead of the curve.
They have a women's heavyweight champion, Marcus. I want to point that out. That she is the champion still.
Yeah. They're still diverse. Moose has a title too. I don't know what his title is. I'm just saying they're the most diverse. But I feel like Impact Wrestling, if they end up getting some of these people, it'll be a major come up for them. But I don't feel like a lot of these people are a big loss for AEW. A lot of it was dead weight. Like if AEW was like, oh, we got Primo and Epico. I don't care. The only get that they could have got from the releases were Rusev, maybe Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And I'm assuming they wanted Zack Ryder. I'm still thinking he's going there. But
Marcus,
everybody else is like
Weston Meebor says EC3 is underutilized and he could be an asset also.
Oh, EC, I forgot about him. He needs to go back to TNA or Impact Wrestling. His whole gimmick is that he's the son of Dixie or nephew of Dixie Carter. He needs to go.
Boop. Manny, your turn.
I tried to dodge that.
Manny, would it be a huge blow to AEW if the talent decided to sign with Impact Wrestling over them?
I don't necessarily think I think the only one they should really feel bummed out about is where Rusev goes. If Rusev doesn't go with them, or if they can't get Rusev to join them, I think that's the only one that you can realistically say that was detrimental to what they're trying to achieve. But I think they've already got the Revival, which is a good pickup.
Well, I don't know if they got him. According to the Revival or FTR, they are working on a handshake deal with AEW right now.
That's legit.
That's what he told me. That's what he told me early in the week, and I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Because they want to be able to venture out. They're testing it, but they also want to wrestle in Japan and other places apparently.
But when they sign it, I would have presumed they would have signed like a contract like similar to like what Moxley has, where he's allowed to go to Japan to wrestle.
I'm assuming, but according to Neil, they have not signed anything. The handshake deal.
Because I learned listening to the AEW podcast that Britt Baker is also allowed to practice dentistry at the same time as being an AEW superstar.
But I wouldn't think. Why would that even affect the contract? Like that seems like it's like that's two separate entities.
She has a pay-per-view and she has some type of dental surgery may conflict. Yeah. So conflicting obligations.
I see. This is where I have an issue because, like,
can I pause before? Go. Imagine being somebody in pain and your doctor is Britt Baker, but she can't see you because she done tore her ACL because she was wrestling, and you go, "Well, shit, I gotta go to my second doctor."
Well, good dentists are hard to find, so if she's good at her job, it's all good from there. For me. Like, I understand giving Moxley that ability to wrestle where he wants to wrestle and stuff like that. Moxley was a big get for them, a very big free agent signing for them. FTR, and we all know that I'm biased, I just don't know if I would want to invest into some people who wants to go wrestle in Japan, and next thing you know, they get hurt in Japan, and it's like I just don't know. I don't think they have that much stroke to negotiate that type of contract.
Well, I think that's the risk they're trying to have. That's the risk AEW had with Moxley. Is just like he does wrestle these kind of deathmatch style matches, and eventually he's no spring chicken. He's going to get injured.
Yeah, but he slowed it down lately. I mean, considering how he started in AEW, in which he's jumping off barbed wire and thumbtacks, and him and Kenny swinging baseball bats at each other and whatnot and breaking glass, he's actually slowed down and started doing a more regular, I don't say a toned down AEW match.
Well, no, I'm going to say what happened is that he got out from Daddy's control, went out his house, went buck wild for a long time doing all the stuff that they wouldn't let him do. That he realized, well, shit, they was right. I probably shouldn't be doing all this. The longevity of my career could be at jeopardy.
No, Renee talked to her. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, man.
You don't have to do this?
My WWE backstage check ain't going to be able to support us. So just be careful. I mean, I guess that's pretty much the show, except for our emails. I am not a person. If someone decides that they want to re-sign back with the E, if the E wants to re-sign them back, more power to them. If they want to go some other place, feel free. But like I said, money is very tight right now. So I don't know if you have money to be out there throwing to everybody or doing pyros week in and week out. Like if Cody gets another pyro celebration when he beats Mark Quinn, because let's all be real. Mark Quinn is not winning next week. We all know that.
You don't know that.
I know that. You know what? I this is how confident I am. If Mark Quinn wins and becomes a new TNT champion, I will buy the Tamina shirt for Marcus and I will wear that for 4 weeks straight.
Don't do that to yourself. Eric, don't do that to yourself.
I will wear a Tamina shirt for 4 weeks straight on the podcast. And unlike Wes and Marcus, I'm a man of my word and integrity.
Hold on. With that, you gotta put the stakes on there. It has to be the wrong size shirt. It has to be a shirt 2 size. You gotta wear riot size.
I will buy a 2X shirt. I will let my Tamina titty show. I will let it will be like
you gotta be like Otis.
You're permanently an iconic.
Yeah, I'll be like just tight for no reason. But if we are going to go with a shirt that is 2 sizes too small, then guess what? It will only be for 2 weeks. But actually, I am confident that Mark Quinn will not be the new TNT champion. And Marcus,
I'm looking up spoilers right now.
No disqualifications, no nothing like that. He has to become the new TNT champion. It ain't happening. So something that is happening is now time for us to read our emails, and we have a couple of emails that we need to do. Shout out to El Luchador TV for commenting on our podcast last week. They said it was a really good show on YouTube. Our first email comes from Chris. What up, Sharps? I wouldn't mind being on the show someday. I just worry that my speech impediment would damage the flow of the show, with y'all either asking me to repeat myself or saying huh. Don't worry, I have a speech impediment all the time, and they don't even seem to care. But we shall see. Clearly, none of you are familiar with the real Ric Flair of the NWA Crockett years and are only familiar with the shell of himself, WWE years, when he became a pathetic hunter worshiping bitch. As the NWA Flair often spoke about coming on mountains during his old promos. Didn't y'all have merch years ago of the Sharpshooters logo? Just get a shirt, socks, and maybe stickers. Redbubble baby. Restrictions are being lifted all over the country, but I'm staying my black ass indoors still as much as possible. So with that, what are some YouTube channels or Netflix series you recommend? Lord Manny, when is tea time? There's supposed to be a peaceful protest at my local mall tomorrow. Hopefully all goes well. With that said, if you were to participate and things got rowdy, what stores at your mall would you visit during that time? Hey, potential looters, be damned if they mess up my PF checks. Hey, all y'all should watch Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge if you haven't already done so. Until next time, I remain the guy waiting for this pandemic to be over so I can get on a plane to Florida, get a lift, and have them take me to Pincho so I can order their classic burger and a chicken sandwich. Chris. Now, Marcus, I will answer the first question. If we would loot or whatever, what would be the first store that we attack? When me and Marcus was watching the demonstration and it was looting going down, I called Marcus because they were showing what was going on in Long Beach. And Marcus said some words that were so true. He said, I saw a GameStop on the street, and I said right then and there, they gonna get the GameStop. And Marcus was right. They got the GameStop. And I think if it was me, I'm getting the GameStop. The only problem that you need to understand going into the GameStop, you got to go to the back room because that's where all the games are at, or the drawers that are behind the counters. Marcus, what store are you targeting if you would, let's say, be a looter, be an anarchist?
Even though I do not condone looting and rioting.
Condone, huh? You don't condone it.
I don't condone.
Okay.
I don't condone it.
Eric, they're only words. Don't let them control you. The one place I wanted to do, but I learned I can't do because I heard they're tracking people. I would have went to the Apple store and I would have looted the shit out of them. But because they are tracking people who looted from their devices, I say, no, I am not doing that. The place I would go loot, because if I'm going to loot, Eric, I'm going big, I'm going hard. I am going to rob a Benihana's. I feel like that'd be. I feel like there would be no other opportunity to steal me a hibachi grill then at this very moment right now. So I will be carrying a hibachi grill in a pickup truck, and I will be inviting people over to my house and do a Benihana type meals.
Manny,
yes, I would.
I don't even want to ask you where you would go because I don't know if anyone can follow going to Benihana stealing a hibachi grill. I don't. What the hell is your problem?
Why?
Why? Most people just get a grill pan, Marcus, a griddle.
Imagine me doing it. Hey, you ain't gonna be upset when I invite you over my house and I'm doing an onion volcano for you.
You act like you can do an onion volcano.
I'm gonna take YouTube classes. I'm gonna go to YouTube and see how to do the onion volcano on a hibachi grill.
See, that's what you guys are gonna find out on Tuesday. Marcus always had a long lost dream to work for Benihana so he can do the volcano. But I think his true goal in life is to be a bad Benihana chef. So when he go there, no one wants to have him at his table.
Literally, I would like to do it. One of my dreams was do it, and I'm bald. I would wear a hairpiece and have my hairpiece fall to the grill and catch fire. That would to me be the funniest thing ever. And I would be and I'll try to play it off and be so embarrassed, and then come back and try to continue to make their I guess their sirloin or whatever the hell they're cooking, filet mignon and chicken, fried rice, whatever.
So Manny, 2 questions for you.
I'll be missing butter.
What store, what place would you want to go? Also, congratulations for getting your McDonald's. I saw your post and I felt very happy for you in that situation.
Did you not see how artistic that video was?
Yes, you were very passionate, and I know how you like. Marcus, you don't understand. I think when you got off the show last week, Manny and I had a long conversation. He talked about how much he really missed McDonald's and how Burger King, because they reheat the meat, makes him sick. So him getting McDonald's was a huge accomplishment. So you have that question, where you're going to loot, and also on top of that, what time is tea time?
Tea time's whenever you want it to be. Whenever you want it, sir. I could have some tea right now if you want.
I mean,
taste it.
Manny, it would take.
With the sharpshooters.
It would take the. Hey, that could be your Tuesday show. Tea time with the sharpshooters.
No, that feels like a segment.
No, it'd be Titty Tuesday. 2 T's Tuesday. Tea time Tuesdays, man. Triple T's, 3 titties for all of y'all. Anyway, Betty, what store are you looting?
Probably Foot Locker or something like that.
You're right. We had the whole shoe conversation. But Marcus was telling me.
I feel like if I rob a Shoe Locker, I feel like if I robbed a Foot Locker, I would just end up getting shoes with the wrong sizes, and there'd be other people there competing, and I get like half a shoe, and be like, "Where's that other shoe?"
And that's what I heard. A lot of people who looted the shoe stores, got the wrong sizes, or they got one shoe, and you can't really do much with one shoe. So it's kind of like, what was the purpose?
Would anyone actually loot some Lego?
Dude, once again, I told you, he's my fucking hero. He thought about that $80 package, and he said, he was sitting at home like, fuck it, I'm going to risk my life to get this $80 Lego set. I appreciate that, man. But Marcus, you are right. If you would have looted an Apple store, they would have ran your serial number as soon as you connected to the internet and sent the police to your house. Apple ain't gonna let their computers go.
I don't know anything about no apples. I have green apples. I have gala apples. I have red apples. No Apple products in my house. I got some apple sauce. I got some apple juice. Store brand, generic. But that's as far as it goes.
Hey, do you got Apple Jacks?
I got some Apple Jacks, but they don't taste like apples.
Also, Chris, last question. Manny, do you have any recommendations for YouTube or what he can watch or look at?
I would probably say shoot me a message on one of my socials. It's Manidas, MANNYDAS, because I don't know what you're into, and I could just be suggesting stuff and you watch it and be like, what the fuck was that?
I know for me, for the audience that probably, because I do watch a lot of photography channels and I don't think many people want to see that, but like my other stuff I watch, Beat 'em Ups, he does reviews on video games and stuff like that. He actually did a 30-minute video recently of how he lost out being a Nintendo ambassador. He was the only one kicked out the program. It was a very sad watch. It reminded me of Drake Maverick and how it was. He felt so bad. I also do watch RGT85. He does video games review too. He's also a wrestling fan. He likes AEW. What else is there that I watch? Nintendo Life, because I'm a Switch user and I really like it. And goddamn it, we really need to fire up. We need to get that Streets of Rage, because I'm actually having a lot of fun playing Streets of Rage on my Switch, and I think playing it on the Xbox One, we would have a very good time doing it. Marcus, what about yourself? Do you participate in YouTubes? I think you're more of a Netflix user.
Yeah, I'm more like the Netflix user, but my stuff is all like pretty much. I think it's pretty popular stuff I watch randomly on YouTube. Like I watch a lot of the Ringer stuff when they're doing like redrafts and the rewatchables and stuff with Bill Simmons. What a Culture is a good follow when they have like some of their countdown lists. They cover wrestling as well.
I follow both What Culture and Cultaholic. Cultaholic's more wrestling based, and then What Culture does have a wrestling channel, and then
I don't actually watch the wrestling channel, but I know they have
it's so that's where most I hear most of the news stuff, but most of it just seems so AEW biased that it's just like they can't do no wrong, and I feel like they can do wrong.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's most of the world though. Everybody is just like, man.
I will point out though, like my favorite meme that makes me laugh every time, because I think we've all watched Tiger King, correct?
Yeah.
So my favorite meme, anytime they put this up, is when they have Joe Exotic and they put his famous words, "I will not be able to financially recover from this." It makes me laugh every time, because at that point, when that lady arm got bit, he was so fucking frustrated. It was amazing.
Yeah, but let's not forget that he went out and put the EMT jacket on. Joe Exotic does not forget about the drip.
No.
Our last emails come from one of the longest listeners of the show, one of the biggest supporters out there. It comes from the Diz Man. He's the guy who's returned back up in the place, the guy who's put the smile on the Kool-Aid Man's face, the guy that is funny and downright clever. It's the Diz Man's folks' greatest Sharpie ever.
This is the greatest show. This is the greatest show.
What's really good, Sharpies? What's really good? Before I get to wrestling, I have a pretty serious question to ask you guys, and it has nothing to do with wrestling. Do you guys think that forgiveness is dead? I mean, we want things to change, but we cancel culture being the way it is. Would people even be given a chance to change? I mean, let's say I sat down with a racist person, and after our conversation, he or she actually started to feel bad and he really wanted to change. Would people give him a chance, or is it a case of one and done? The reason I bring this up is because personally, I think that it's time for people to sit down and talk, not just vocalize on social media. An actual conversation. You don't like me? Okay, why? Why does my skin color anger you so much? Why is it when you see me, you don't even think of me as a person? Why is it when you see me, you already have your gun drawn, ready to gun me down? And what can I do to change your opinion? I hate to bring the show down, but I guess I needed to get that out. Don't worry, guys. Things are going to pick up from here. At this point, I would say that I am not a believer in cancel society. And I think the thing about it is that because I'm old, I'm 40 years old, and I think the problem with the younger generation right now is that no one feels like you can disagree. Like, I don't have to like AEW, and you can love AEW, but that doesn't mean that we have to be sworn enemies. That just means that we have a difference of opinion. I don't think racism should ever be tolerated, and I think a lot of times people who are racist are usually racist because they're insecure about their position or something like that. They have generated a hate because they can't look at themselves in the mirror and say that my situation is not because of things that I've done, but because of other people. I wish we can sit down and talk to people, but I don't think we really can. Marcus, go ahead. You go first.
Well, I've never supported the cancel culture. Like when you saw posts of like, I've never felt the entitlement of someone going, let's cancel this person for what they said. Whether it's Kevin Hart for whatever he tweeted from like 800 years ago and why they cost him the Oscars, or if it's recently like Keith Lee or Chris Jericho or whatever their opinions is on the situation. I think if they're really gonna cancel people, it should be somebody extremely over the edge. Like it's like, oh man, like a pure racist. Like, what's her name? Laura Ingraham? She should be canceled.
Or for to keep it wrestling, Sonny. When you're hashtagging white power, that's not cool at all.
Yeah, it's not helping the issue or nothing. Like that's understood. That's understood. Or if you're out there, you know, the people in the Me Too movement, all the people swarmed in that who went to the extremes of like, you know, the Harvey Weinsteins or even your Bill Cosby's who was out there, you know, being pure rapists. I almost said the best pure rapists in the game, but this is a serious topic.
You can't say that.
I know.
There's no such thing as a best. Oh my God. We're gonna get canceled before we even start. Demonetized, and we're not even making money yet.
But what I'm saying is it should be reserved for people like that. The extreme people, the cancel people. But for every little thing, like trying to think of somebody recently. Like, let's say, I'm just going to give an example. Let's say, you know, when Randy Orton said nigga. He said it online. I don't think it's a full cancel culture. It shouldn't be a thing. I know he didn't get attacked at all. But I don't feel like that was a situation where let's cancel Randy Orton. I just think the whole thing is dumb. It should only be used for extreme cases. Like, I'm not going to cancel you or say we should cancel somebody because they support Donald Trump. I would wonder why. Because he's an idiot and a racist and really, I'm just going to say really fucking stupid at most points.
He's provided more entertainment, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, he's the greatest heel in the history of wrestling. And he's not even in wrestling. He's just a heel. He's just a heel. It's like if the $1 Million Man became president, that's what we got right now in the office.
In so many ways, you're right, Marcus. And like, you know, not to cut you off, but really to cut you off. As you said, the cancel culture. I remember when Jackson Riker made his comments about supporting the president and things of that nature. Ricochet was one of the people that was outspoken about it. And then one of the prisoners says like, so when you see him in the locker room, what are you going to do? Ricochet said, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to talk with him. I'm going to see his point of view. I'm going to tell him my point of view. And we're going to have a conversation like adults. And then I just remember people were getting backlash over Ricochet. Why you got to be a bitch about it? You need to do this, this, and this. And I was like, that's not the way to do it. Manny, would you agree? Are you a counselor? Or do you do a play-by-play or a case-by-case basis?
It definitely has to be a case-by-case basis. I don't feel like everyone has to hop and jump onto things when they don't even fully understand what's going on. Like this stuff with, it's like I remember watching an interview. I think it was with Kanye West, and I think it was on Netflix with what's his name, the one that used to do a lot of interviews, Letterman.
Okay. Oh yeah, David Letterman.
There
Yes,
you go, Letterman.
Letterman. David Letterman.
And then when he was explaining why he supports Donald Trump and all that stuff, and then all the stuff he got that came from it, but you can't push onto him your beliefs of, like, for instance, Eric might think of one thing, and then I might disagree with it. I'm not going to hate the man for it. We're just going to have a discussion. Yeah, but that's you. You're a completely different entity. You're not even human anymore. You sold your soul.
I mean, I have the petty moment of the week, but you're just a petty motherfucker. Simple as that.
But people have lost touch with this whole thing of, let's find out why. Because, like, there's always two sides of the story. Like, Jackson Riker, I get you've got the right to freedom of speech, but was now the time? Like,
some people are just assholes.
Timing is everything, and it's like you wonder what that Jackson Riker thing, because as Kevin Owens said, this is a really shitty time to push your catchphrase, and it's like, is he doing what everybody knew, like trying to get more heat to his character? I don't know.
But you know something? You notice something?
What?
Every week they've come out with their warning of their show, in Forgotten Sons. I believe there was a video they were gonna probably have for this week that they probably just took out. I think the Forgotten Sons was edited out of SmackDown this week.
Do you think Vince told him to do that?
No.
Probably just pull it. No.
So it's interesting because I know
Vince is a money man.
Everybody always, like, because I remember everybody was like, is WWE going to release a statement? Are they going to do this? And then, like, when WWE released the statement, they shitted on the statement that WWE released. I mean, at the end of the day, all the WWE performers have been fairly outspoken, and no one has stopped them from being, it's one of those things where you see Titus O'Neil, you're like, wow, Titus, you're out here talking, and you're doing your thing, you're making your movements, and you're standing with Dave Bautista, and you just wonder, like, why didn't you get a little bit more traction in WWE? I feel like I'm happy they're not stopping the wrestlers from speaking out, but at the same time, it's just that, like, everybody is voicing their displeasure. Like, at the end of the day, no individual, black, white, Asian, should ever be treated the way that Mr. Floyd was treated on that day. No one should have to deal with the whole thing that Breonna Stevens, who still hasn't had justice, of someone police busting into. Huh? What happened? Breonna Stevens. Taylor? It could be. I could be wrong. I know her name is Breonna, Marcus. I'm very bad at this. I've been talking for fuck. Now I feel awful. Oh well, I've been fucked up. But you know what I mean. It's a very frustrating time, and we really need to sit down and we really need to discuss race and figure out what things is about. Like, because
if you watch the Xavier Woods thing on his channel on Up Down Down, I think they released it yesterday. That got me sad.
Wow.
Like,
yeah,
he was talking about raising his kids and stuff, like, in this kind of environment, and I was just like, fuck.
No, there have been a lot of the black YouTubers that I watch, they've all created videos talking about what it's like being black and things, and they talk about the things that we have, the talk that you get about when you're dealing with the police, and that everybody's going to treat you differently. It's one of those things where you try not to think about, but we all live that lifestyle, and it now I think I need to go back to the email because I'm gonna get all sad again. I was all amped up and okay, let's go back to the email. And I fucked up on the girl's name. I feel.
It's all right. Everybody fuck up eventually.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cancel you for this. But to bring it back to like full cancel culture and whatnot, there is a case of bullying, and like in the previous week, they were talking about what's her name? Dang, I always forget her name. Hannah, the one that died. The one that, committed suicide. I forget her name. Hannah Kimura?
Hana.
I just know her as Hana.
Something.
Yeah. And it was all the bullying for her in her wrestling uniform, whatever reality show she was on, and all that, and that led to her death. And that's what a lot of this canceling does. It leads to that. And then I see the same people who are complaining about, like, oh, you shouldn't be bullying wrestlers and Hana. But Nia Jax gets bullied on a weekly basis. Yes, she sucks. But most people are wishing death upon Nia Jax.
I don't like her, but I wouldn't wish death on her.
Yeah, they're like, oh, she's fired and dead and all that. And this week, when I saw the Kyrie's A spot, I felt like it could have been anybody's fault. Like it looked like she ran into the stairs like anybody else. Like I've seen numerous people, but I don't know exactly the mechanics.
I tell you what, I didn't have a problem with that because accidents do happen. But when she started taking the mick out of the Japanese accent and Japanese in general, I was angry about that.
That was racist. Yeah. All
right, going back to the email, and it is Breonna Taylor. I apologize to the family of Breonna Taylor for messing up her name. I feel awful. I'm going to be sad the whole rest of the show.
All right, Eric Smite.
You're right. I deserve that. Okay, I have the bone to pick with you guys. All these weeks have gone by, and not one of you have mentioned the vaginal saturation that permeates Charlie Caruso. Whenever she's around Angel Garza, I mean, she just gets all flustered and frazzled whenever Angel leans in. But what was really funny was this week, Zelina wasn't having it at all, which I found funnier than I should have. Real question. I have a question. Why should I be confident that this is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever if Edge doesn't even know if he has it anymore? Oh, and I have to share this with you because it is hilarious. I was watching some old Attitude Era wrestling featuring The Rock. My daughter walked into the room and said, "Whoa, that guy looks like Dwayne Johnson." Now, at first, I was like, of course it's Dwayne Johnson. Who else would it be? But then it hit me.
Please say it's Farouk. Please say it's Farouk.
But then it hit me. She wasn't even thought of at the time. She never got to smell what The Rock was cooking. And for a split second, I felt old. Finally, I showed you some designs that you could sell at Redbubble and make a little bit of money. Well, I've enclosed more, and I want to get your opinion on them. Anyway, Sharpies, I'm going to go, but you guys take care. And remember, sometimes you got to start over so that something better can be made. Later, guys, sign the Disman. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you guys ever ordered anything from Redbubble?
No, I've never ordered anything from Redbubble.
So, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to take the time. I'm going to order one of the Disman shirts and see what the quality is. And if one of those shirts is a great one, Marcus. He has, I quote, "I don't," in red letters with a line going in there. I don't like those people, Eric.
I don't think we could wear those shirts.
No, you really can't. You really can't.
Let me like this all day. All right, here's a shirt. That's my shirt. This is my Tamina shirt. That would be the Tamina shirt. It'd just be a white shirt that said, "This is my Tamina shirt." All right? That's all it is.
You can do that with any shirt you have. I would more expect you to write that. I don't want a printed one. I just want handwritten. This is my Tamina shirt.
And on the bet, I lost the bet. Okay.
I'm confident I'm not going to lose my bet, and I don't think Mark Quinn is going to be the champion, but who knows, because I think AEW might be live next week, and Mark Quinn could be the first. Mark Quinn could be the first black champion in AEW.
Well, Scorpio Sky had the tag belts. That's their one black friend.
First black singles champion.
Okay. Oh. Would you be more upset if Mark Quinn won the TNT title or Bobby Lashley winning the world title because of the Black Lives Matter movement?
I would be more upset with Mark Quinn winning the title. And you want to know why?
I'd be more upset with Bobby Lashley because I feel like Bobby Lashley needs a bigger stage to win, not this.
And Manny, I believe that is a very justifiable point. What happened to your light, Manny? You got into the dark. Did the battery die?
No, it's just got dark by the window, so the light changed a bit.
Because I've got to buy me a light too. My reason why Mark Quinn would be very upsetting if he won the title is the simple reason he's a fucking tag team wrestler. That's it. Simple as that.
Here's my thing. This has nothing to do with Mark Quinn. I'm over that.
He asked a question and he got over it.
Yeah, I didn't honestly care about that question, to be honest. I just asked it. But I think WWE has the potential right now to go all minority champions. Would you go that route? I mean, everybody in contention is a minority or has a chance to win a belt to keep it as a minority title. Like, if we no white champions for the first time ever.
See, the reason why I don't think you can go that route is because most people would think it's not genuine. It's like you're just reacting to the calls, and in so many different ways, you might be encouraging it. So it has to be a more natural win.
If Velveteen beats Adam Cole.
No, as I told you, we didn't give our predictions. I think it's going to be a title switch. I think Velveteen beats Cole, and I think Keith Lee loses to Gargano.
I don't see that many titles changing. Like, I would think Velveteen wins because I think they've got bigger plans for Adam Cole. I hope with I don't think we've even touched on Dijak moving to Raw.
It's not official yet. I haven't seen anything to prove that point.
But I feel like Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era needs to be on Raw, and NXT rising again, because you've got so much talent there in the main event kind of scene. You've got too much main event talent in NXT that needs to spread out.
I would rather see the Undisputed Era on SmackDown. And because I feel like they have a better roster for it with AJ and Daniel Bryan and Nakamura and Cesaro and even the New Day as well. I feel like you have more potential over there than Raw, because Raw seems to be big guy heavy with Lashley, McIntyre. I'm blanking out. And you know, Braun Strowman's a weak ass champion anyway.
And that's why I see both Velveteen and winning and Lee losing, because I don't think that Adam Cole is long for this world. I mean, when you looked at SmackDown this week, they have no stars. They have absolutely nobody. So you put Adam Cole on that show, he possibly could be that star that they think he can be with the Undisputed Era.
Is it Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, or is it just Adam Cole, baby?
Oh, no. It's no way Adam Cole can go by himself. He has to have the Undisputed Era. He has to have in the land of giants, he needs to have his crew with him. And as for Keith Lee, I don't want him to go to Raw because I know what's going to happen. We're going to have Lee versus Dijak again. But I would prefer for him to go to SmackDown. But SmackDown needs a dose of reality, and Matt Riddle can't be the only answer. And as Manny says, there's so much talent in NXT. You have Karrion Kross. You have Cameron Grimes. You have the resident thick boy, Bronson Reed. I mean, you have Damian Priest. You have so many other people who possibly could carry that torch with the Undisputed Era leaving.
With that said, I think Adam Cole's going to win.
Okay.
I do not think Velveteen is going to be Adam Cole.
Well,
I feel like Velveteen, when he wins, it should be a big moment in front of a big crowd, and it seems like that's what he feeds off of, and he's better with a crowd than by himself.
Isn't his match shot? I think this parking lot thing is shot like it's
cinematic.
Cinematic, yeah. That was the word I was looking for.
It's a spotlight, backlight brawl or something like that. I don't know.
Backlot brawl, Marcus, a backlot brawl. That's why he was roller skating in the back lot. With that being said, we have failed once again. The show has went 3 hours long. However, I thought it was a very good show, very thought-provoking show. Hopefully, Marcus and Manny will be able to accomplish their goal of a 20-minute show, which I do not have any faith in them accomplishing.
Oh, man, if you don't know me, I know me. I'm a time cop, homie.
I thought you was going to say you...
Unlike you, Eric, I know how to police my shows.
I was ready for him to say that he's quick at it, and I was like, oh, that explains so much about it. But, you know, like I said, I hope you guys tune into Tuesday. I hope you guys enjoy the content that we are trying to create. And we're also open to any suggestions that you may have. And know how you can suggest those things? You can do a couple of things. You could leave a comment, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's one way to reach us. The old traditional way to reach us is to send us an email at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. Manny, if you can do a favor for us, could you write the email address out on your whiteboard and hold it up? Because I don't have an overlay yet for that.
If you watch this on YouTube, they know how to spell it.
Marcus, it's always better to have a visual guide. And also,
if you're on the audio show, you can't see the side.
But that's why we're trying to encourage other people to come here. And then also, I will probably take my time and order a shirt from the Diz Man to see how Redbubble's quality is, just so I can see if this is an avenue, if there's people out there who want to wear Sharpshooters merchandise. And the last way to contact us, you can also befriend us on Facebook and be our friend. And, eventually I think I will try to maybe multi-stream this stream to the Facebook page. So if you don't want to go to YouTube, you can also see us on Facebook. But we need to figure out the live stream first. But I've talked too much. I have rambled on too much. My name is Eric.
My name's Lord Manny Hayes. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends.
And I'm Marcus, the grand finale. And if you're looking for a hibachi service, come to my house in Long Beach, in my apartment, where I will be making onion volcanoes and fried rice.
So basically, what you're saying is I'm doing a show by myself because you're gonna get arrested now.
All I gotta say is that I would like all the listeners to stay sharp. But my whole thing is, please don't go to jail for stealing a hibachi grill from Benihana. It's just not worth it. Until next week, stay sharp.
That is the best ending to a show ever.